Hello, uglies, and welcome to a special edition of reality TV show wrap-ups here on RHAP has a podcast. We are so excited to be talking about Dragula Titans episodes 1 through 3. And I'm your host, Beth Dixon, and I'm so excited to get into the gory details of this incredible season so far. But I'm not alone, and I had to bring in an expert on not only drag and cosplay, but somebody who really understands competition, who understands the nitty gritty details that go into some of these artistic decisions. So I brought in Jaremi Carey. Jaremi, how are you doing today? And welcome to the podcast.
I'm good. I'm happy to be back to doing this. I know a
Yes.
little bit about drag and
Do
makeup.
you?
Just a little.
A
I'm still
smidge?
new. Yeah.
I'm
But
still
I'm
new.
still learning. Yeah. No, I'm excited, and I'm excited for Titans. I'm already everybody knows I'm a huge fan of Dragula, anyways. So now to see Dragula Titans is just really exciting.
Yes. Were you shocked by anybody who came back for this season?
Um, no, but I thought I thought like Sigourney might have come back
Mm-hmm.
because of their position on the last season. I was just like I was expecting that and I didn't
Yeah,
see them, so that was a little shocking. But no, I'm not surprised. I think everybody that's there belongs there, and
I do
yeah,
too.
it,
I think that, Titans is such a great name for a quote unquote all stars kind of season. Because
mhm.
I think that not only are these Titans of their craft and of drag, but they're also Titans in terms of personality and
Oh, they
uh,
definitely have big
they
personalities.
got
Oh
personality.
my goodness. It's been nonstop. It's been nonstop drama from like the get go. So no,
I
they picked the
know.
cast wisely.
Well, that's what I was thinking. With a season like this, not only do you want to bring back people who obviously have incredible talent, but you also want to bring back people who they work together. There might be drama together. There might be
Mhm.
friendships. We already have that alliance going on between Melissa B. Fierce and Kendra Onyx and Coco Kane.
Yeah.
It's just so interesting. And then you have the love triangle, which we'll get into much later. But eye rolls.
Ay, ay, ay.
So basically, what we're going to do for this podcast is we're going to chat a little bit about each of the 3 episodes so that everybody gets caught up to date. At the time of this recording, the episode 3 just came out. And then we're planning to do a second podcast at the end of the season, which will take place after the finale, where we can discuss not only the finale, but all the other episodes after season 3. The highlights. We won't go through every single episode at that time. Just similar to what we did last year. And I'm so excited once again to have Jaremi with us because I really feel like, especially with this cast, the craftsmanship, the artistic visions, the commentary on various different horror and gendered expressions are incredible. So I can't wait to hear your takes.
Mhm.
So we're going to start off with episode 1, and they are all brought back from the dead, Jaremi. They are
Yeah.
brought back to the dead. They're brought up on stage. And they're told that there's no extermination challenges this
Yeah.
season.
Yeah.
Instead, we have, was it the fright feats, I think, or what they're called? Fright feats. Um, but FEATS, not feats, like they don't have scary feet.
Yeah.
Um, but they all have to participate every
Yeah.
single week. And if you fail to participate or if you fail the fright feat, the person who was eliminated before you will take your place in the competition.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Well, so I was confused at first because I was like, wait a minute, so no one's going home, but they're gonna go. Someone's gonna go home, but then they're gonna replace them. So I was a little confused
Yeah.
to be honest. I didn't know what was going on. Plus, I was like just overwhelmed at everybody coming back. So I was just like, let me just watch this and figure out what's gonna happen. But it was a little confusing to me at first. I don't know if it was for you.
Well, I think we can get more into this when we get to episode 3, but I was more confused as to, especially with this first episode, we're going to have a non-elimination essentially,
Yeah. Yeah.
because Abora comes back in the second episode.
Yeah.
So
When they
already
said
one
no one was
episode
going home, and then
down.
they eliminated Abora in the first episode, I was like, wait a minute, what's? Well, I'm so confused at what's happening.
Well, yeah, and that's what's so interesting too. I thought the queens were going to vote every single time, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, not this nonsense again. Like I don't know about you, Jaremi, but I don't like when you have a show that's based off of like talent and vision to have people voting each other off. But I mean, there's the messy part of me that loves it, where I'm like, oh, you better go, the drama.
I do and I don't. As a viewer, I like it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I'm
taking
like,
part in it, I don't like it, because then
yeah.
it really isn't about. Well, I think when it comes down to, you bring all these people back for like these these Titan shows, or like, you know, the best of the best shows, and then they're judged not based off of their you know, their art or what they bring to the stage necessarily. It's their peers who can be, you know, be petty, or have, you know, alternative motives to get somebody out
Mhm.
and get ahead. I just feel is not. Then it should be a totally different game. This is like
Right.
Survivor instead, because it's not based on then what you know, how well you did in a challenge, or, you know, what you wore, what you did, you know. So I feel like it's kind of tricky in that situation. Now watching it and not being on that end now, is really exciting to see. But being in that moment, you're like, well, this isn't fair. Like, why do they get to judge me? What if they're jealous of my beauty? Like, you know, so like,
I
I
do.
don't
I do
know.
have to. I know exactly what you mean. I know that
Yeah,
people are constantly
yeah, of course,
jealous
yeah.
of my beauty.
Of course.
Uh, no, I'm thankful that we had the one episode of the Queen's voting. Of course, we do see in episodes 2 and 3 that it does switch back to the Boulet brothers making a
Yeah.
decision out of the bottom queens. So we'll get into this first episode. So the fright feet, bobbing for apples with blood, and did that look like real blood to you?
I don't think it's real blood. I do think when I was watching it, because that's not going to be sanitary and safe. I don't think that
Yeah,
was real. But obviously the stuff beforehand, I think like that the pig's head and all that was real.
right.
Like when I was watching it, I was like, I'm sure like production went back and was like, all right, we have the pig head. Does anybody want to bite this out of this just for fun? And I what was it? Was it
Erica, I
was it
think.
Erica? Yeah, just Bob for it. I
Wait,
could just see
time
Erica be
out.
like, I'll do it.
That clip of Erica taking the full pig head and
Literally,
whipping
like
it.
like girl, like where did this big ass pig head come out from your
Also,
bucket?
I
And why
call,
did
I
she
call.
get the why did she get the pig head and nobody
It's
else did?
also, there's no way. I'm sorry. I actually think the pig head was fake, because there's no way that pig head would. I mean, an average human head is 8 pounds, right?
You think it was fake? I don't
I
know.
think it was fake. Like,
I
I
feel
don't
like I
know.
don't know. It looked rather real to me, but maybe I mean it is
I don't
LA.
know.
Maybe they have great props, you know? So
Absolutely. Well,
yeah.
listen, feel free, if you know better, tell us. And actually, I just realized I'm wearing the shirt, Protect Trans Women shirt from Batme Cosmetics, which the owner of Batme Cosmetics is Jayla Rocks, who works on production for Dragula. So if you're watching, hit me up and tell me if
Was
I'm
the
wrong
pig
about the
real or
pigness.
not?
Yeah, is it real? Is that real
No,
pig?
but like, so literally when I was watching, I was like, okay, this it looks real to me. So I was
Yeah.
like, obviously they're not gonna make anybody bite it. So like in my head, I was like, I bet production went back and literally was like, who wants to bite the pig head? And you know, someone was
Yeah.
like,
How did they
Erica
decide
was like,
who
I'll
was
do it, I'll
doing
do
what?
it. You know,
Yeah,
and
I got it. I
yeah,
want my
yeah,
TV moment.
yeah. Who knows? But
There were
but I do appreciate it.
brains, there were, it looked like intestines. I mean, it looked like there was a whole bunch of different kinds of things in each of the buckets. So I was interested, like, if they had a specific order they had to go in, or if they just kind of went up to a bucket. So yeah, I bet you're right that they were like, okay, who wants a brain? Who ordered brain? Who ordered
I
pig
also
head?
think like in my head, like being on like a few sets and like thinking like liability and stuff like this, I feel like they would have to ask them for their
Hmm.
permission to do something like that before they just went in there and like, you know, threw this like real blood and body parts at them. So I do feel like if it wasn't fake, it was they at least got their permission to do it.
They sure must have.
Yeah.
My other highlight of that, of course, is Kendra just ripping her wig off first away. Nope, this is not getting bloody. Just
Well, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, oh my gosh, it reminded me of on a little drag show I was on, and they our very first challenge was they painted us with liquid latex, and I was so nervous that they were gonna put liquid latex on our real outfits that we walked in on, and I was like, oh my gosh, and that's all I was thinking on this one. I was like, oh, but we actually they gave us different dresses, but I was just like, oh my gosh, they just ruined their clothes. Obviously, they don't care because it's all
Yeah.
about filth and glamour there. But
Right.
I would have cared. I would be like, but these rhinestones, darling.
You're like, I stoned the shit out of this.
Right? Not for
The
the
hours I put
corn
into this.
syrup.
Well, actually, you know what's really funny about that? I watched the first episode twice because it's been a couple weeks since it aired, and I didn't realize I clocked this. Erica takes all of the candy out of her wig before they go into the fright feet. Because you remember she
Really? I
walked
didn't
in.
even notice. Yeah,
I
she's
noticed it
covered.
the second time. So they really did that. And I was like,
Really?
yeah. So
That
I
must have
think
been
that they must have given them plenty of time to prepare. Because there's no way
I
Erica
don't
just like
know.
pulls everything out.
Unless she has another wig that's styled the same.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. So in this, we have a little bit of controversy where Astrid says, I won.
Yeah.
And Melissa also, actually, neither of them really said, did I win? Or like, I won.
And the edit
They,
wasn't very clear either
no.
on who won. And so like if I was a producer, like I would have I would have purposely have like had Astrid think that, they won too and then switch it to Melissa for TV.
That's what I loved about it.
Yeah.
I
So
loved it
was
so
like,
much. I love the random switch from Astrid being like, oh my God, I won. And I'm just going to sign all of these parts. And you better be happy that you don't have this responsibility, blah, blah, blah. And then a note gets passed to Astrid being like,
nope.
Upon further reflection, we rolled back the tapes and we saw that Melissa won. And then Melissa's like, yes, bitch, you're the host. You can't, now you have to do everything.
You're watching TV.
We want to dance.
Yeah.
Like, the gag of that, of course, is that Melissa decides that she wants to make sure that Coco and Kendra and her are dancing, and then they didn't rehearse a dance, and they were like so discombobulated.
It was.
I was like, oh my God.
So are we going right into that?
Well, I mean, we can. I was just laughing at the fact that
was interesting. We'll get to it, but it was interesting to watch that group.
It really was. What ends up happening now is honestly like 20 minutes of them just talking shit. And that's what I loved. Like, welcome to episode. This is what I love about Dragula. You get into episode 1 and most seasons just go right into drama. Like season
Literally,
2,
like right in they just walk in and start yelling at each other.
and they're like you suck. You're in a love triangle. I don't think you should be here. Your looks aren't elevated. Like I was like,
oh my gosh, what is this?
And you know what? A certain other drag show would have all of that just be happening in confessionals. But I so appreciate, like, if you got something to say, might as well say it. Why not?
I like the I like that it's not like chopped and edited. I mean, it is. It's everything's edited, but it's not like chopped and edited like to make a different story.
Yeah.
And so like you can clearly see like the start to finish of their conversation that they're having, and it's not like the start of a conversation then it cuts to a confessional and a different sentence is used and then it goes back to like two other people. Like so I do like that it does that. And I like that they have no filter. They just say what they want to say.
I also do like in the third episode the guest judge is like, can I swear? I was like, this is Dragula. I think swearing's the least of the worries here on this show.
I love it.
It was so good. So what were some of the pieces of drama that really stuck out to you, or maybe the shady comments that came out in this first conversation, if you remember?
I mean, the thing that everyone's talking about is the love triangle.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to be honest. Maybe I'm old. I just don't. And I'm married. But there's no way in hell that I would let something like that get in the way of like my the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like what? And I certainly wouldn't be with anybody or give anybody the time of day that knew that like those harping on this situation or love triangle or playing with my emotions, like knowing that I was going to go into a competition would play on that, or like, go into this not handling it first. Like I would expect that the other person I'm talking to, first off, I couldn't be with another entertainer. I just couldn't do it. I've done
Yeah.
it in the past, and it just doesn't work for me. But I would certainly want someone that if I'm going to go forth on TV like this, and especially in a competition setting, that they're going to be like, no, focus on the competition, put your best, self out there, and worry about that. Because I think maybe it's again, maybe I'm just old and I'm just like, I ain't got time for it. Shut up. I'm going to put my makeup on. But I think their mind isn't in the game. They need to just
Yeah.
focus on the game, and they can deal with all this afterwards.
I'll say this, and I know that the love triangle plays a huge role in episode 3 too, so we can just get this out of the way here. But I will say my personal opinion of an edited version of what I am seeing is that Hoso is absolutely leading
Oh yeah,
Abora on. I
yeah,
think that it's ridiculous that Hoso, from what we saw, did not go up and address this directly with Abora in the 3rd episode, those kind of
yeah,
things. And is content to basically just be like, well, I don't want to lose a friend, so therefore I'm not going to say anything. I don't think that's right.
yeah.
Clearly, if you really like every episode, it's, well, I really adore Abora and I want to make sure that, they're still in the competition, that
Yeah.
maybe you should give Abora some closure,
No,
not
100%.
lead them
And you
on.
know what? I mean, everybody knows this. I've been very vocal on social media about how much of a Hoso fan I am. I've talked
Yeah.
about it on the last podcast. But seeing this Hoso, like if I'm thinking of a Titan that's going to represent Dragula, I'm like, okay, so this is like kind of like a something I wouldn't, in my mind, want of a winner, because I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, so these are like, to me it's kind of unprofessional too to go along this, because then like what are your professional relationships like if you can't have this
Mm.
conversation, you know what I mean? So then like that was going through my head, because then I was like, because I remember in their season, one of the conversations that kept coming up with them was that maybe they're too young, that they haven't
Yeah.
experienced this yet. And then I'm like, oh gosh, is it, maybe they still are? I mean, and it's, I don't
Yeah.
know. But I think I mean, we've heard it out of their mouth in like a one solid clip that they don't want to, talk to Aurora, and I just
Mm-hmm.
think like I to me it's leading on, and I
Yeah.
just think that it's super disrespectful, not only to all parties, to Aurora, to Astrid, and to Hoso themselves, because why would you want to put this on you when you could be
Right.
focusing on trying to win?
And also, you're the center of attention for everybody else too, and you're basically opening yourself up to criticism from everybody, which can only affect your drag and how you're going to be doing in the competition.
Hmm.
Um,
Well,
all of that's, you
and
know
they
what? Oh, go ahead.
and
Go ahead.
and Host has like completely already said that they're Aboro's like number one fan, and that like if they're ever in the bottom, like they're never gonna vote for them. So
Right.
already, I'm like, I don't know. That's not gonna make any friends, girl.
It's not. I also think, at the end of the day, the show obviously has a lot of like quote unquote fear factor into it, where you're supposed to be facing your fears. And
Yeah,
if this is a fear of Hoso's, like, why not address this head on? Like, consider this to be a real moment for facing something that's hard, because that's what the whole point of the competition is. And if
yeah.
you're going to showcase this on television, you might as well show a character development moment. So let's see if that happens in the future. I don't know.
I also
Um,
don't know if they're just acting and playing it up, because then there's
Very
parts where
could
they've
be.
showed where the entire those three are together, just laughing, hugging, and and
Yeah.
I'm like, what's happening here? Yeah, so I don't even know if they are. Then they need an Oscar, because the acting is top notch. But
Hmm.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very interesting. As a side note, I am loving Hoso's out of drag look, confessional look with like
Oh no, they look great.
they
That
look
hair.
so
Yeah.
cute.
Yeah.
I love
So
it.
good.
So
Yeah,
good.
yeah. Every time I look at them, I'm like, ugh, they just look so good. Yeah.
The other moment that stuck out for me in this beginning table is Kendra and Yoska kind of going after each other, where
Oh,
Kendra
Toilet Teletubby.
the toilet
Eh,
Teletubby.
You know what's funny? Okay, so people that are watching this, so Beth and I were on the same stream team, but
Yeah.
Yovska is also on the same stream team,
Hmm.
and that's Level Up on Twitch. And
Yes.
I am not used to the Yovska that I'm seeing on TV.
Yeah.
I'm like, who is this? I was like I see them just snapping back and being loud with people, and I'm like, wait a minute, I don't know who this is because this isn't the Yovska I experienced. I have no clue.
I know. Well, that's what I thought was so funny because in season 3, Yovska was like gave it back, had those like sly little like shade
Yeah,
comments that were like an afterthought or like were quiet or like people
yeah,
would be like,
yeah, yeah,
"Oh,
yeah.
like that came out of nowhere." And I love that we get to see this side of Yovska because they're not like that on stream or with their community and
No, it's a
such.
totally different. Yeah, I was like, whoa, what's this? Like, I remember the season before, but it wasn't like this. Like, this is like another level. But I feel like because they've said it before that they felt like they were talked over, they felt like they didn't
Mhm.
get anything in, that they felt like now they have to be heard and seen and this, that, and the other. And
Yeah.
so, I don't know. It's just it was quite of a shock because I was like, who's this? But
The
I
other
love Yoska's looks, and I thought the Teletubby looked toilet looked great.
And you know what? As soon as Kendra said that, I was like, you know what? I love that.
It's good. It's great.
It's why not? I
Yeah.
mean, it's filth, right? The other two people who I think we would be remiss to not talk about a little bit here is all the negative feedback before the competition has even began towards Erica, where everyone's like, Erica hasn't elevated her drag at all. Like, what do you think about that? Because I think Erica's a very interesting perspective in a very specific style of drag. But how do you think it relates to the Dragula competition? Do you think that they're justified by saying that?
I mean, I don't think anybody can really sit there and say what elevated is if it's not their art. Eric has
Mm.
such a distinct style to her work, and so that nobody does it like Erica. And
Right.
so and I think Erica knows what works best for Erica.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a lot of stuff that I've seen Erica do before? Yeah, absolutely. And we're gonna go into some looks obviously later that like completely blew me away because I was like, whoa, that's Erica. Which is great. But I think like coming into the workroom, you're gonna show who you are
You
and your
are.
brand. And yeah, and Erica walked in as Erica, and I don't see there an issue. I also feel like some of the people that are calling that out also look the same from they did before. So I'm like, what? I mean, hot,
I'll say it.
black.
Kendra, I'm sorry, girl. Like
I love
that's
Kendra's personality. I think Kendra
me
has such,
too.
and I just want to sit down and just like talk to her and have lunch and just laugh because I know I would. The looks though, which she kind of walked in like Ariana Grande almost with this like ponytail and this clueless movie like look, to it. Yeah, and
Yeah.
so I was like, I didn't get Dragula from that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting whenever queens start to put each other down in a competition hasn't actually begun yet. They're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
this person shouldn't be here because or I think this person's the weakest," and that kind of thing. Now, granted, I'm sure many of these people are working together
Oh, they're
out
all
on the
friends.
scenes and they're
Yeah,
all
yeah, yeah.
friends and all that kind
Yeah.
of stuff. And I think a lot of this is obviously played up for television to a certain
Yeah, yeah,
extent.
yeah.
Um, but it's played up for television using real emotions and real
No, yeah, 100%.
feelings, right?
Yeah.
So I just think it's interesting. So we have this kind of back and forth between, Kendra, Melissa, Victoria, and Erica, where they're kind of like, I don't know if you're really ready for this, girl.
I just don't know
Um,
why at this level you need to worry about someone else. Like if at this
yeah.
level, focus on yourself. And I think one of the good people that do that, that like off the bat that there was no drama was Victoria.
Mm-hmm.
And throughout all the episodes so far has just kind of like sat back and like listened to everybody and just focus on them, and it's
Yep.
obviously it's shown. But I think at this stage, like why are you worried about other people? Like
Worry about
you're
yourself.
here for a reason. You're you know your craft, you know your art, you know what you put out there. Just focus on that and do it.
And I think the other person who is not doing that, it is such an interesting character within the social dynamics of this group is Eva, who I think is actually being quite shady this season.
You think so?
I do. There's a lot of eye rolls. There's a lot of like kind of like looks and such when judges are giving critiques to other people. Of course, that's edited. We don't know if it's to the real
Yeah.
thing or not. And I do think, we'll get into this more with episode 3, but I can see to a certain extent I say this to one person and then I go and I do something else kind of thing. I don't agree to the extent that Melissa and Kendra and Coco are
Yeah.
calling Eva out on it. And I think Eva, from what I know and have seen like on Twitch and such, Eva's an awesome person.
Yeah.
But I think Eva's playing it up for TV. Like that's where I see.
When I look at Eva, and I guess because I know Eva too, and
Mhm.
I've worked with Eva, like we're friends and everything. Eva's such a nice person, and Eva
Mhm.
genuinely cares about people. So when people are saying that, like, they're two-faced, or
Right.
whatever the case, I think both things can be true. Both,
Sure.
like, for instance, yes, I think, like, obviously the love triangle, it does make everybody feel uncomfortable, and of course it does, but that doesn't mean that she can't go check up on her friend and be like,
Correct.
hey, what's going on? And then people kind of, I feel like they misinterpret that to like she's being shady. No, she's checking on her friend. Like, I would do the same thing and check on my friend. At the same time, y'all are being fucking annoying with this love triangle. You know what I mean? Like, both things
Yeah.
are true, and I don't understand what maybe there's more that we're not seeing for them
I
to give
think,
that response, but I don't.
yeah.
From an outside source, I could see, and I would do the exact same thing if that was Jiggly in a love triangle. And I would be, well, first off, I'd be very loud and say, like, y'all shut the fuck up, y'all are
But
annoying.
that's the difference, I think.
Yeah.
I think that's the difference is that you would be telling them to their face, this is fucking annoying, but also I'm going to check in on you because I care about you as a person.
Yeah.
And I think what other people are seeing is Eva's not doing the loud to the other people, like, hey, just so you know, like, we're all fucking sick of this and we don't want to see this.
I think she could do that better, but I feel like I feel like just knowing her, like that's not her personality.
But I also don't think that's shady, to your point. What I think is the one example from episode 1 that I thought was a little shady because they have to vote is that she has this whole thing about, I don't know what Abora is really doing here. Abora expressed to me that they didn't want to be a part of the drag community anymore, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
She stops rehearsal with Hoso to talk through it and then like goes over and talks to Abora about it. And then Abora's up for elimination, and all of a sudden Eva's like, "Oh no, Abora should stay. I'm just going to go after Erica now." And then that just seemed weird. Like I'm missing the link in between that shows like you spent the entire episode talking shit about Abora, essentially. Not talking shit. I shouldn't say that, but like kind of questioning Abora, and then you have the opportunity to be like, here you go. But I think that, they're friends in real life, so I can understand.
Yeah, that's they're not going to vote.
Yeah.
Each other, you know what I mean? Because they're friends. Yeah.
Yeah. But again, as a viewer, who may not know all those relationships, although I have a feeling if you're watching Dragula, I feel like you've probably know. But okay, so that's the main. Is there anything else that you want to bring up from the drama before we get into?
I just want to say, if I did the shit that Melissa has been doing, like Melissa is actually like trying to manipulate.
She is.
I was called a manipulator, and I didn't even do shit. And I'm like, he's on camera like, we're gonna get you and you and you, and we're gonna win, and we're gonna slay. And I'm like, like, you are plotting, girl. But I live for Melissa. But I was just like, dang, girl, she came in with a plan.
You know what? I'm gonna say it, Jaremi. Melissa's confessional look, I was like, I think looks like you. I sat back and I was like,
yeah. So we were watching,
are they related?
Party, and I was like, I would wear this whole outfit.
I
wear the bandanas all the time. So no, 100%.
The only thing I didn't think that you would wear like all the rings and such. But I sat back and I was like, I could see. I
used to wear a lot of rings. But,
really?
All the time. But like doing makeup and stuff, it would get on my nerves.
Now,
being at a computer all the time, the rings hit the keys, so I don't do it anymore, or the mouse. But I used to wear a lot of rings and necklaces. Like I used to do it a lot. But as soon as I saw Melissa's outfit, I was like, But
it's also down to like all the tattoos and such. Like she's got the chest tattoos and in like the arms and such. And I just sat back and I was like, oh my gosh. I'm getting such strong Jaremi vibes for this. It's so funny.
That's my brother. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I love. So for this week, Melissa got to choose all of the different parts for this Halloween party where they all had to take a classic Halloween, American Halloween costume and zhuzh it up and make it their own while performing a lip sync in this like house scene. What are your thoughts on the overall concept of this as a challenge, and what did you like about it? And then we can kind of go into the looks in a second.
I love it. I love this like throwback retro vibe to like Halloween and everything. It's just, I think it's super campy.
Yeah.
Which I love. I love the idea of taking classic horror characters and turning it into something like revamping it to something more modern or just to fit you, which I think is really cool. No, I absolutely love it, which I've done a bazillion times. And I just love seeing people's creativity shine through and stuff like that.
I definitely think that this was such a great introduction to a reintroduction to so many of these drag characters, and take a concept that seems quote unquote basic, okay, like a ghost, a pumpkin, whatever, and Dragula-ify it. That is a word that's really hard to say, so that's why it's not a real word. So I think it was really interesting. I don't really know if the parts were really necessary. Like, it just was more about where are you in the house. It wasn't like the dancing queens have to do something really spectacular. The Ouija board queens have to do something.
Dragula stuff is never like that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's always like, okay, you're going to be assigned a part. However, everyone's going to sing the same song and have the same lines. So I think that is, I feel like Dragula is just very specific on where you're going to fit in the set. You're right. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
So let's go through the looks themselves. I'm going to just go in alphabetical order. And so we're starting off with a doozy. Are you ready?
I'm nervous. Wait, go.
We have Abora with the question marks because this is Abora's take on the American Halloween costume of Alien. So that's what I think she said.
They said.
Or they said.
But when I first saw it, I was like, are you a scarecrow? I think a scare. Like, if they said scarecrow, I'd been like, oh, okay, cool. But then the hands gave me lobster. So then I was like kind of confused at what was happening. But it's also Abora's like signature like makeup and the nose and everything. Like so
it's like also with the feathers and such. Like I was like, is it a chicken alien?
And Abora loves a feather.
Yes.
I think every look is almost every. Well, no, the witch didn't have it, but I so far we've seen a lot of feathers.
Yeah.
But so this is the thing. Abora knows their look. Abora has a signature look. This is what I was talking about, like branding, like with Erica. Like they have their look, and it's perfected for them.
Right.
The problem when you're doing something like this is that you have to do the challenge.
You have to tailor it.
And so how can you take whatever creature that you picked and make it, still Abora, but turn it into the creature? But when you think of like a classic, Halloween creature, do you think of Alien?
I don't.
It wasn't on my list. And I don't mind thinking out the box. The problem is if you're gonna say Alien and then give us this, it's kind of a stretch.
There's a part of me that thinks, I wonder if their plan was originally to do like a witch of some sort, but then they were told by production, don't do a witch, because literally like the next episode's a witch like competition.
I wish they would have said Scarecrow. I think
I agree.
Scarecrow would have been so perfect. Scarecrow is a classic Halloween look. But I feel like with Abora's signature look and everything, a Scarecrow would have been perfect to easily transition into. But then I don't know if because Erica and Abora are in the same color scheme, like this red and black, so maybe they were like, okay, what do you have, girl?
Maybe they were trying to match, because I know like some of the other duos and pairs and trios were also trying to find little things to tie into with each other's looks. So I don't know. And Abora also gets called out in this challenge for not knowing the words, having a little bit more of a lackluster performance in comparison to some of the other artists and queens on the show. So it lands them in the bottom. So not a strong start for Abora, who I think honestly has one of the most iconic Dragula looks out of all the
100%.
seasons.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited to see them back on this season.
Can I say that I just love that we can see all of your tabs and everything?
Yeah, you got this. My new tab right here.
I love all of this. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I wish I could do something like much better, but it wouldn't for whatever
No, this is
reason.
fine. This is fine. This is great.
So let's also look at Ostrid now. So Ostrid is the like
Like the
host of
creature
the
from the Black
party.
Lagoon.
Yeah, and is the what did Cassandra Peterson say? Like the shape of water meets the creature from the Black Lagoon, like together. I was like, it's the same thing.
It's literally based on six. Yeah. If I was to do a creature, it would have been this.
This
So
looks really cool
because not a lot of people do Creature of the Black Lagoon, and I just love this. I thought it was really really cool. And like I love that they were innovative with like the toothpicks for like
and the rice paper.
Yeah,
So
I thought it was so
cool.
clever. I also love because the whole thing about Dragula tooth, it's filth and it's glamour and it's disgusting, like it's this type of thing. It's different, it's out there, it's edgy, and this is still swamp creature, but then it's like glammed up with the rhinestones and everything, and I love that. I thought that was really really creative, and they did great as the host. They were out there and hosting.
They were campy, and I thought that was so fun. I love watching it in this GIF over and over, but the fact that the cobwebs are so attached to their costume is so funny to me. But I agree with you. I think that Ostrid's biggest strength is the fact that she can turn a glamorous, scary look. This is kind of a theme that we see with a lot of their looks, and I really appreciate it. This look I thought was incredible. It was definitely one of my top, maybe two, I think top two looks for this challenge. And honestly, what a great way to come out here after someone was trying to be shady and put you in a position where you have to be in all these different scenes and everything. And it's honestly, at the end of the day, I would have died to be the host. Are you kidding me?
Same.
Especially, you didn't have to learn lines.
I just gotta like serve plates and dancing.
Okay, maybe it's the Leo in me, Jaremi, but I was like, I want that camera on my face constantly. You're gonna love this. And I love the way that they just own the host look.
They did great.
So then we have Erica, who was a bat. And I like Erica's wings and makeup, but I don't know if I think like the rest of the costume's a little basic, or the look is for me, but I don't know. Like, what are your thoughts on Erica's look here?
So the problem, it's so much black.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to see. I think first I do think she looks super cute.
Definitely.
I was like, oh, this is such a cute little bat. And like to me, like if I'm looking at this like roll at like a house party, I'm like, oh, she's like the little ditzy bat character.
Yeah.
Like I think it would, like in my head I could just picture like the bat like accidentally flying into the wall and be like, oh, and like flying into something.
Whoops.
So I could see that. The problem is it's just black on black on black on black on black. And
that's a good point.
So I think if there was like a good color scheme to go with that would be like to have like a purple tone with like on the fur or something, or something that makes it stand out so that way the hair isn't blending into it. Another problem is, and I don't see them do this often, is the waist shape loses the back, so it kind of just looks like a onesie to me. If that was like cinched in a little bit more, I think that would be really really cool. And that's just, I don't know who made the outfit, but a simple way to do that would be to separate the wings from your waist, so there's like a hole through the center of that, and then you can belt it. A lot of people could do, or you can make like a custom made cincher to put through that and tie it. But something to give it shape, I think, would have made those wings and everything just bring it in all together better. But I still think she looks cute.
No, she definitely looks cute.
She did good.
She did. I don't. She was the real victim of just, they were in the bottom because Abora was on the bottom. I mean, and honestly, by default was the whole reason why they were even the bottom. And then Queens ended up voting for them. So there was that too.
But this is like what I'm talking about, like with Abora, like we know this is Erica just by looking at Erica, but Erica
Right.
still is a bat. And
Right.
like that's a thing that I think Abora needs to, you know, find a happy medium with is
Hmm.
still us seeing a Bora, but sticking to the challenge.
The other, just like to that exact point, I love how Erica did the makeups, that it's the signature Erica look, but
Hmm.
make it bat. And I
Yeah.
loved like the little reds. I like the blood here. And I think that maybe for me, if she had been able to maybe act a little ditzier,
Hmm.
I think it would have came together, especially because they have like those furry Ugg boots on.
Yeah.
Like act like the basic bitch bat.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
like that would have been great. But then it's a slight disconnect from the horror looks that they're giving. And I think that there could be ditzy moments where all of a sudden you're like, ah, and then like switch back or something. Cause it's kind of
Yeah.
a campy performance. But
The
those were the
problem
only things I had with that.
the problem with something like that though
Hmm.
is that especially in these group challenges, like let's say Erica did do that and then
Sure.
went that extra, then it's like okay, where you just being extra now and because like Abora is not giving enough or like
Gotcha.
like so am I going to be judged worse on that, which has happened to many people in the
Sure.
past. So it's tricky.
Yeah. It's definitely tricky.
Yeah.
I think that, they had the energy for both them and Abora.
Yeah.
So next we have Eva Destruction as the devil.
Yeah.
Can I just say, Eva's one of my all-time favorite performers on this show.
Oh,
Like
she's great. She's a performer though.
everything. She's
Some of the
incredible.
people here are look, like they give a great look. They're like a walking art piece, and then you have people that are performers as well. And Eva is a performer, um,
Hmm.
and so and you could tell Eva looks great. I mean, what am I supposed to critique on this? They look great.
I love it. I love the jacket reveal into the other thing too is like in season 3, Eva's storyline was very much about being self-conscious to show off body hair.
Yeah,
And I
and they've embraced
love
it. Yeah,
it's fully embraced. And you know what? I think it's sexy as fuck. And
no,
I
they
say
look
that
great.
asexual person. So
No, they look great. Well, I think owning your body is sexy. Period. No
yeah,
matter who you are. So I think it's
absolutely.
great. They look great. You can tell that they're having fun. You can also tell that they are a real competitor in this because of how
Hmm.
serious they're taking everything. So I love it.
And that's the thing too, like in this performance, like even just the way that she's like using the Ouija board and kind of gyrating as she's doing that and such, like
Hmm.
that, those are the little extra things that are in character with the costume that I
Yeah,
guess I'm hoping that I would have seen a little bit more from like Erica, for example, right?
yeah,
um and compare that even to her scene partner Hoso, who is going along with it. But there's just something extra that Eva gives to every performance that tells you that she's fully in character, that I
yeah.
absolutely love.
I do agree with the judges though when it comes down to reimagining a character. I mean, it's a devil. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
so I feel like that's kind of a hard character to pick because there's just
right.
like one look of a devil. I feel like it's easier to be like a demon. Um,
Yeah,
but a devil, you're gonna be red with horns. You know what I
yeah.
mean? So it's like,
I
which
think
I do like the little housewife, sexy house, pen up housewife
yeah,
type of thing. I think that is cute.
with the like no panties, you
Yeah,
know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Like that kind of thing. Yeah, no, I definitely agree. There's definitely a couple other
I think it's very
costumes
safe.
coming up, but yeah, it was definitely safe. This
Yeah,
was a reliance on a performance, but performed so well.
yeah,
So next is Hoso, her scene partner, as a pirate. Um, and I thought this was such a cool concept for a pirate. It took me a second. Once I saw the hat and everything, I was like, oh, that's a pirate. And then it said pirate underneath, and I was like, confirmed.
yeah.
But that's what I like about Hoso is that I have to kind of take a second to take it in before I can kind of get the concept. And
Mhm.
that's what I enjoy about good art is that sometimes you are forced to think about it. And I love the one red eye, instead of having an eye patch, something that shows like a different eye, right? Like little
Yeah.
things like that I think are incredible details that Hoso brings to their drag.
My favorite part of this was the head up,
Yeah.
because I kind of got lost what the bottom part was.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of that has to do, like, probably in person I would have been able to tell more,
Sure.
because it's a video, they're moving so fast I didn't get it.
Yeah.
But from here up, I thought it looked really, really cool. Again, signature Hoso face. I think on a first challenge like this, it's always good to show yourself,
Yeah.
and like your brand, and then you can, like, branch out.
Right.
But no,
Reintroduce the audience to who
I
you
thought it
are.
was cool. I also didn't. I like when Hoso did a pirate. I was like, it wasn't on my list of like Halloween looks that I would have thought of. And then, like, but it makes sense. Like, my
Yeah.
very first outfit that my mom made me was a pirate outfit. So yeah,
Oh,
yeah. So I've been here. I've done that. Yeah. So I was like, oh, you know what? That's smart. Like, I didn't even think of that. Like,
could
which
you
is really, really
imagine if
cool.
the challenge had been recreate your first Halloween costume?
Oh my gosh, it was literally a white pirate shirt, and then she made me orange, black, and white striped, like, baggy pirate pants
That's
with a red
adorable.
sash around me. Yeah, that was my Halloween look.
My first Halloween look was grapes. I was
Grapes. Oh, like
I had
Hanes underwear grapes.
basically, yeah. So I was wearing all purple, then I had a whole bunch of purple balloons on me.
Oh, that's cute. Wait, did you like wear it to school or something, or like actually to trick or treat?
Trick or treating. And then the next year I was green grapes.
Well, there you go.
And then I
But you know what? This goes back to knowing your brand and what you're.
fruit.
Yeah.
Now I go as wine.
Right there. Oh, the grapes have matured. I
Could you
love
imagine?
that.
Yes, that's right. It's fermented, baby.
Yeah.
Oh, great. So the next person we have is Kendra Onyx, who is Frankenstein. I love this suit, but I think it's
Do
too
you?
basic for this cup. Like, I just, like, in general, like, I would love to see someone on the streets of New York wearing this
Oh,
suit. You know what I
100%.
mean?
Yeah,
But
like
I
the
don't like
Destiny
it
look,
for
like what we want.
Dragula. I
No,
think it's too
so
basic.
this is the thing. If you're gonna do Frankenstein, okay, so it wasn't like this up. It wasn't bad.
No, yeah,
Like,
her
and
head
then
was
I
great.
love the hair and everything. I thought that was great. The outfit's just too clean, and I think that
Hmm.
this is something that we're gonna see often with her. That, like, her stuff is very clean still.
Hmm.
And if, in my opinion, if I was going to do Frankenstein like this, and I had this incredible outfit, because it is a great outfit, I would have ripped that up, and then I would have stitched it back together, so it looked like
Mm,
pieces were together. And I would have, you could have stapled it all together.
yeah.
You could have, because if Frankenstein has staples and stuff on him, you could have safety pinned it. Whatever the case is, it's too clean, and that's the problem. It needed to be ripped up and roughed up a little bit. But I love this concept that they were going with. It just needed to be slightly tweaked.
Yeah, and I can't tell now that I'm looking at the GIF, I can't tell if the earrings are supposed to be the bolts or if the
Mhm.
necklace of the spike is supposed to be the bolts. But I kind of wish that this spike theme had been carried out into other things, like maybe there's spikes on the jacket or there's spikes on the boots
Mhm.
or something like that that brings this kind of like metal capacity to a Frankenstein look would be really fierce.
Yeah.
That said, the performance, like,
Was
shocking,
great.
was like, shocking yourself was amazing. The limp wrist action where I
Yeah.
was like, if you're gonna be Frankenstein, you better be Frankenstein, like,
Yeah.
super gay. Loved, like, all of that was really amazing. But I yeah, as soon as I saw this, I was like, "Oh no, Kendra, please, like, zhuzh it up a little bit more."
It just need to be messier. It's just
Yeah.
too clean. It looks like you were like, oh shit, I got to go to a Halloween party. Wait, what do we have in the closet?
Okay,
And then
call me out,
and then,
Jaremi. How many
well,
times we've done like Pokemon tournaments and everyone dresses up and I'm like, I'm wearing a hoodie with a scarf and I'm the flying gym leader. And I'm like, do you get it? I wore a hat with a duck on it. And you're like, great job, Beth. And I'm like, yep, that's me.
it's that. Yep.
It's giving Beth doing the Pokemon tournament, and we're not here for it.
But yeah, I also wish the green was more green.
Yeah, I think that's something I just don't know too much about when it comes to pigmentation of like makeup brands and such. When like I can't tell if she did a powder or if she tried to do something that was more oil based, but I have to imagine doing something oil based would have been a better move here, right?
I think I mean honestly you could have used whatever, just set it with powder so it doesn't get on your outfits and stuff. But if the
Yeah.
outfit was dirty, you wouldn't even have to worry about it. But I think like it would have been really cool to either just been completely green like that,
Mm-hmm.
or um like a grayscale um
Ooh, that would have been cool.
Frankenstein would have been really really cool. Or what would have been really cool is if like the hair ripped off and then it was Bride of Frankenstein
Oh
afterwards.
yeah.
Like that would have been really really cool. I don't know. It's just there's little things like I want to just sit down and be like, oh girl, let's redo this. Let's 'cause it's a great concept. I just want to like let's make it
It's a starting
extraordinary.
point, and I
Yeah,
think that there's definitely different things that could have made it a lot stronger and would have
yeah,
complemented the performance.
yeah, yeah.
So next up we have Coco Kane, who went as a mummy, a messy, messy mummy. Knowing that this was Coco's first of all brand, we know that when they do like really sexy femme presenting stuff, it's gonna be slutty as fuck. And you know what? I live for that. And they also wanted to go for a really messy mummy, but my point is probably gonna be something I'm assuming you're gonna be very similar with me, is like, if you're a messy mummy, then how come there's no like dirt on the wrappings? How come there's like, I want more of the filth portion if you're trying to be messy.
Yeah.
And I didn't get that. I got the concept. I was happy for it, but I didn't think that this was their strongest work.
It so okay, so first off, yeah, Coco does know like her look. She's this like sex goddess, and I
Mm-hmm.
love it. Her body has become more curvaceous since the last season of
Whole
the
couch is
economy.
on there.
Literally, it's just like wah wah bong, and so which I think is good. It's just to me, and then watching the show, I don't know how much of it was already done or how much it was to me. Like watching as a viewer, it looked like they were just making it right there and like I'm gonna cut up these straps
Mm-hmm.
and put it on me, but parts of it doesn't even look like her titties are out, and so to
Yeah.
me it doesn't even look like a mummy, because like when you think of a mummy, I don't know, I feel like I need more wraps on on my
Yeah.
body or something. It's like falling down on one side, and that could just be because of the dancing. um I don't know, I it wasn't my favorite of the night, but I liked, again, it's like a starting point in my opinion.
I feel like this was after a long night of hooking. Trade took off my wrappings, and I had no. I'm just kidding. Um,
You know what
I
I think would have been cool if she had her hair up, and it's still like this like huge hair, but like the hair was wrapped up, like
mm,
little pieces of the hair were coming out of it. I think that would have looked really really cool too.
that would have been neat.
But like she put like her face, she has like it looks like prosthetics and everything coming out. So like she had an idea there, but one of my pet peeves when you're gonna do prosthetics, and someone else in the show does this like so well, this attention to detail. But if you're gonna put prosthetics and stuff on, it bothers me sometimes when people just focus on one area instead of like
Mm.
telling the story throughout the entire body.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, a mummy's literally a decomposed person, so I wish that we would have seen more details in like the arms, the legs, even in the boobs or something like that. That just showed like some
If you're gonna wear a
decay.
prosthetic, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely
If you're not gonna wear a prosthetic, then you can get away with being like a cleaner mummy.
correct.
But when you're presenting this image of like you know a decaying body, and then it's like brand new spanking white,
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Do you think that so Kendra was not in the bottom, Coco was technically in the bottom three? Do you think that their placements were correct with Kendra being safe, Coco being in the bottom three?
well, it was a performance-based challenge, and I
Mm-hmm.
do think that Kendra outperformed Coco, um, but I feel like their looks are pretty on par.
Comparable. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Yeah. Okay, so now we have Melissa B. Fierce, who is a vampire. Talking about prosthetics.
Mhm.
I'm not, maybe I just haven't watched season 1 of Dragula, and I have not had the pleasure of seeing Melissa B. Fierce in person yet. So I'm not sure if I know of Melissa to be a big prosthetic person.
Mm-mm. She's not.
So that's it was
It was really
interesting.
cool to see her do this. Yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting to see her come out in this way. And to be honest, with the way that your feedback was for Erica with the wings, I like that her wings go up and allow you to see the waist, that there's different colors. Granted, she's the vampire, Erica's the bat. And so that's a little different, but it just shows you the difference in like silhouette and what you can get away with
Yeah.
when you pay attention to body proportions.
I love that Erica did this. You know what's really shady? This is gonna be really shady. So I actually have a friend that she looks just like Erica, and I know Erica has a prosthetic on, but they have like the
Are you
same
talking about Melissa?
face. Yeah, or no,
Oh,
sorry, Melissa. Sorry, I was thinking bats. This friend I know looks like Melissa with Melissa's prosthetic. I know that's so shady, but when I saw, I was like, oh my god, that looks like my friend.
oh
But
my God. Well, Jeremy, Melissa looks like you out of drag. What is this transformation into your friend?
oh my gosh, I can't. So the outfit itself, I do like the wings that are apart, and I think that's smart because if you're gonna do a performance space, your hands should be free, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And Melissa's a performer too, though, and so
Mm-hmm.
Melissa did incredible here. Um, the outfit though, it's not. I see where they were trying to go with this, like it's almost like this like an old school like Dracula with the ruffles and that type of thing.
Yeah.
But it throws me off like with that glittered cincher, you know, whatever that is, a belt thing on there, and then like
Yeah.
the weird cut for the boot. They almost look like chap boots that are connecting to it. So that was a little weird. I
Yeah.
think I would have rather had them. I think like if they're gonna do this like leotard thing, some like white tights I think would have been just fine
Yeah.
in a boot. But I mean, they sold it. They look great. Their face looks so good, and I love that they did something out of the box like this
Mm-hmm.
that we're not used to seeing them.
I do too. I think that the only I'm happy with the risk. I'm happy with the prosthetics. But as a reintroduction, especially as the person who hasn't been on Dragula since season 1, is the only season 1 queen here, I would have liked
Was
potentially
Melissa
seeing
one?
season 1. Yeah.
Really? I thought Melissa was two. Was she was one?
Season 1.
Wow.
So that for me was the only reason why I was like, I don't remember this being Melissa's drag aesthetic. Now, granted, it's also been how many years, and people grow and they change, and that's the whole point of coming back on one of these
Yeah.
shows. So it was, I mean, if it had been a complete and utter failure, I would have been like, girl, what are you doing? Like, just rely back on what you're known for. But I think it worked out pretty well. I
It was
agree with
okay.
you with the sparkly such, like, if you're gonna have that, you might as well carry it out, like have the boots be rhinestoned or something like that. Maybe the wings are rhinestoned. Um, but I don't know. I think this was definitely a safe look and a safe performance. I The thing with prosthetics is it cannot, especially in a competition or like in a challenge where you have to lip sync, it can't hinder your ability to give face when you're lip syncing. And I think that Melissa did a really great job of making sure that that was not a hindrance to her when she was
Yeah.
performing.
No, she did great.
So, all right, Victoria Black, who I know you are a huge fan of. I saw your tweets.
It's
So
just first off, it was one tweet. um,
the 17 tweets you had.
I keep texting her. She doesn't reply. No, I'm just kidding. No, I
Here,
do not
text
have
her
her number.
again. Let's
I
just
do
see what
not.
happens.
This is so fucking cool.
It's so good.
It is straight off of it's fashion. It's disgusting, but it's beautiful. The prosthetics are so good. The wig ripping off into the pumpkin guts is just so fucking creative. The hair is just beautiful. It's this like modern like it's like 50s, 40s looking housewife but pumpkin. It's incredible. It's beautiful fucking work. And you know what? This is what I'm talking about. If you're gonna do a prosthetic, you can't leave the rest of your body, with no details.
Mm-hmm.
And their entire body, their chest, everything, it just looks like they came straight from the ground. Like their fingers are like
Exactly.
roots and everything. It's just so fucking good. It's beautiful.
But like every detail's thought of. The shoe
Yeah.
matches the skirt and the little cuffs on the wrists, right? Like all of those match together. The kind of slime that you would get off of the head is replicated in some capacity in the skirt as well.
Hmm.
Every single detail is thought out with Victoria. Like I think she, and I thought this in season 2, I think she's the best special effects artist I've seen on any drag reality television
She's
show.
good. She knows what she's doing. What I like when like whenever I watch people or if I'm ever judging anybody, the looks that I really enjoy to and gravitate towards are the ones that look like they just came right off of a movie set, and I
Mm-hmm.
could see this in a art. It's like ready for film.
Yeah.
Look, it's so good.
I just think too that like she has such a wonderful ability to make a look equally scary, but also want like don't look away from it. Like you want to
Hmm.
keep looking like this pumpkin face. If that like if I turned around and that pumpkin face was there, I'd be like, what the fuck? And then like
Yeah,
freak out. But
and
then
then you're
I
gonna
would be
want to look
like,
at everything. Like, how in the world did
yeah,
you
it's
do
like a
this?
car crash,
Yeah,
but not in a bad way. Like I just want to look at everything and I want to take it all in, even though it's creeping me out.
yeah.
And the fact that, especially in a challenge like this, that Victoria's doing all this campy stuff, like she's carving a pumpkin, which like there's something really messed up about a pumpkin carving a pumpkin, which I
Yeah.
think is, and the way that they're acting, all these other things. Like I just to have the creepy aspect of this with the face, while you have like this cutesy 50s style song going on, like I just really dig that.
Yeah, no, it's perfect. There's like nothing
Definitely,
wrong with it.
and she wins. So, and I definitely think that she should have. So, great work. And finally, we have Yavska, who was the other pumpkin.
It works. So if I saw this by its okay, so if I saw this by itself, I'd be like, okay, yeah, no, that's great. But then when you're sitting next to, Victoria like this as another pumpkin, you're like, oh god. But I think what really works is that they were both pumpkins, but they were so polar opposite of like
Yeah,
pumpkins that it works. Like it was almost like Victoria and like her puppet sidekick
yeah,
technically, and it worked. But I loved that. I love the little pumpkin heads. I love the little pumpkin tits. I love that it was like rhinestoned and everything on the
mm-hmm,
blacks. I just thought it was really really fun. The outfit under was a little off to me. Like
mm,
it's like where the skirt starts. I feel like is a little low. I wish it was a little bit higher. I think would have
yeah,
read a little bit better. But that's if I have to nitpick it. I think
yeah.
this is really really clever and fun, and it's the Ofska.
I also have to say that the trench coat looks very like elementary school,
Yeah,
like arts and
like a
crafts, like
brown bag.
Halloween costume, like
Yeah.
we have their ghosts and all this other stuff. And for this particular challenge, having like the cutesy aspect of like these traditional images for Halloween was a really great little touch. And then I'm happy that she takes it off immediately to reveal this. But I can definitely see what you're saying about the skirt. I didn't seem to care because I kind of also knew like the proportions, like she's already changed up the game when it comes to proportions,
Yeah.
right? With the fact that she literally has two
Pumpkin
pumpkins for
titties.
boobs.
I
Um,
want to see this show. Like, I just looking at them right here, them together. It's like
I'd
it's such
watch that.
a fun, campy little thing. I would love to watch this. Whatever they're serving, I want it.
Just putting this out there as we are recording this, it's election night, and I want to just confirm this is the future that liberals want. It's these it's these two dancing in a kitchen.
Can you imagine? This is what we need in the White House.
This is what we need. All right. So that is the looks for episode 1. We will try to go a little faster as we go through the looks for episode 2 and 3 as well. But as we said, Victoria wins
Mhm.
with who else was in the top? I think Eva and
Was Melissa in
Astrid.
the? Oh no, Astrid. Yeah, was yeah.
Yeah, Astrid was in the top, right? So Astrid, Eva, and Victoria are the top, and then Coco, Abora, and Erica end up being in the bottom. The queens then go to the cauldron and they decide that amongst themselves that they're going to only vote for one of the 3 bottom queens. This is where we said before Hoso's made it clear that they're not voting for Abora. Yeah. And she also changes the game and votes for Yovska, who is not in the bottom, which we find out in episode 2. Don't know.
Why Yovska? Like what's there that we don't like? Why? I don't understand.
And the other part about that too, that I think like, I wonder if there's some kind of like, I don't know. I feel like they have very different drag styles, but they kind of go for really interesting different looks. And I don't know if there's a feeling of being threatened creatively or not there, but Hoso also calls out Yovska as being the person that in the very beginning at the table that she doesn't think is ready for the competition. So it's interesting to see Hoso go after Yovska.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. Like, they're not really explaining it, but I don't know. I thought that was petty. It didn't like. No one in these type of situations, no one wants to vote anybody out. Like, you don't want that responsibility. But when it comes down to it, you have to pick somebody. Right. And I just thought that was kind of shady. It wasn't kind of. It was shady. It was. Petty.
Was shady.
And I think it was kind of. Again, it goes back to like, I'm such a huge fan. I'm just like, just come on, do the role that you need to do. And if you didn't have this title and be like, no, I can make these tough decisions as a leader and do this. And to me, that's kind of just a cop out. And I'm like, come on, just.
Especially when there were 2 other choices of people in the bottom 3. If you didn't want to vote for Abora, you could have voted for Erica or for Coco. And clearly Coco wasn't going to get a lot of votes. So vote.
You know what? If you want to be well, no, I guess you couldn't be diplomatic. I was gonna say, if you want to be diplomatic, go off of what the judges said. But honestly, the judge, it would have been Abora. I would have voted for Abora, but like hands down, like Erica carried you.
Yep.
So yeah,
I definitely think that it'll be interesting to see if and when Abora goes, if that changes how Hoso acts in the competition.
Oh yeah, I think it will.
So
for sure.
So Abora does go. It gets they what is it? The staircase of hell or something like that they have to ascend the staircase of hell, and then
they return back to the depths of hell.
They go back down to the depths of hell, whatever. The stairs of judgment. I don't know what they are, but they go up there, and Abora is eliminated, but not for long, because now we're going into episode 2. Abora comes back. And I think people are generally okay with Abora coming back. But you know what I like about it is that people just go, you know what? If that's the twist, then I'm rolling with it. Like, it's the Boulet show. If they want to do that, great. And I love that level of, I'm not bothered. I'm here to worry about myself in an all-stars kind of Titan season. Like, that's exactly the attitude you should have, is like, roll with the punches.
But I think that's ingrained in the Dragula system. Because Dragula is always constantly pulling out little things left and right. You never know what's going to happen. So I think they're just kind of used to it. You know, if they did that on other shows, they'd be like, oh my God. You know, like, they have. So
gasp.
Yeah, I think Dragula is just kind of ingrained. Like, you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah. So for this episode, they have the Wicked Witch Challenge, where they each have to conceptualize an idea of a witch that's within their drag persona and character, but they also have to zhuzh up and make sure that their shoes are a part of their performance in drag as well. So it's simultaneously a look challenge, focusing on shoes, while also performing on the floor show.
I really love these challenges of them taking like super easy concepts and then making it their own, but it still fits in that, like, you know, grunge punk horror film, you know, genre. And I think that's really, really smart.
I do too. I also like when they do these different competitions and challenges where they take one aspect of drag. So in this case, the shoe. Sometimes it might be like a hat. In season 2, I believe they did fans and things that they have to incorporate in the looks themselves. Because I have to imagine that a lot of these looks were mostly put together before they came, and then after they hear the full details of the challenge, are continuing to construct a lot of other things. So it gives them an opportunity to build off of the things that they have while also trying to fit within the like rubric of the challenge. So in this case, they have to make sure that their shoes are represented as a part of the drag character are being featured, which I think is really funny because we have seen from other seasons that the Boulets are very particular about the shoes that you have on stage.
Oh yeah, they are. When I was a judge, they called out so many people's shoes. Then I called out some, and this is before like I knew that was like a real thing. I called somebody out for their shoes, and they're like, "Yes." Oh, okay.
They're like, more of that critique.
But I literally, when I said it already, like I like head to toe movie set ready, just looks, and people often overlook their shoes, and I'm not. I also get that, like especially a lot of new people that are into that that drag scene and that art style. Everyone's got their go-to black boots, and people use them all the time for every look, and I get it. I do feel though, like at this level, there should be options, and like if you're gonna come to a show, you better have a fully realized look ready to go. Yeah.
So let's go over the looks for, and I'm going to try to reshare my screen and see if I can get it without all the tabs. Oh, I think it's working now. Yay! Okay, great. There we go. Well, I still see the tabs, but not all the like.
Girl, they're up there.
But I guess you don't see the stuff on my screen. So this is the Wicked Witch look for Abora. So Abora actually in this challenge, we forgot to talk about the fright feet, but basically they had to eat increasingly hotter and hotter foods.
I couldn't do it. I wouldn't do it.
Really? So you're not a spicy food person?
Oh, I want to be able to shit and not have fire coming out of my ass. No, I
That's
like
so
spices.
weird, Jaremi.
I don't like spice. I like spicy. I like spices, not spicy.
So quick side story. Last year, I went to my first Szechuan restaurant. And for those that don't know, Szechuan is a region in China that kind of borders like India and such. And so they have a lot of spices and such that are kind of reminiscent of curries and such, but they also have a lot of really spicy food. Including the Szechuan peppercorns, which were like made legal in the United States like 10 years ago or something like that. They were like illegal for like a long time. And essentially what those peppercorns do is like they're so hot, they numb your body. And or like especially your mouth and throat. I didn't know you're not supposed to eat them. They're just supposed to be in your dish.
It's dangerous because then like if it numbs stuff and then like you don't realize what you're doing to yourself.
So all I'm saying is that I, as a person with Crohn's, ate a lot of Szechuan peppercorns. And it was also like 11:30 at night. And I'm a 34-year-old with acid reflux. And I just I don't know what I was doing with my life. And I asked for white rice. And I'm pretty sure that these people were like, what is this white girl doing? Like, what is wrong with her? So they gave me white rice. And I didn't realize it just came fresh out of the pot. And then temperature wise, it was like burning my mouth. It was a fun time. I got ice cream afterwards and I felt better.
I can't. Yeah, no, I can't do. I would have been like, y'all, I don't need it. Y'all go ahead.
I can't believe that Abora and Erica had to do everything again.
I don't need to hurt myself. This is not. It's not gonna. Look, if you're coming to the show, like you're ready for anything to be thrown at you. So you know what? Eat the damn peppers, y'all. Throw whatever you need to at me. I'm ready for it. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm not gonna hurt myself. And more power.
I'll tell you, Erica once again proving that they have so much tenacity and perseverance when it comes to these fright feats.
But you know what I think too? I feel like a lot of this is mind games that people play because they want to psych you out type of thing. So like Erica did it because she felt like she needed to prove something. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I don't need to prove shit to you. Eat the pepper.
You're like, bye.
I'm sitting over here in air condition while you're sweating. Fucking.
You're like, oh no.
I was dying watching Abora because Abora was going fucking through, like her face.
Just the amount of saliva and like
Yeah.
nose come like, oh, it was so bad. She was running like a
Oh
faucet.
no. It's just that's not worth it. It's not worth it
Is
to
that
me.
worth it?
Yeah.
Um, I definitely think that Erica makes the wrong decision in making Abora go bald
Hmm.
after she wins the Fright Feed. Like, I agree that you go after someone like Victoria or,
Hmm.
Eva or somebody who, once I don't know if the clarification was she had to cast the spell right then and there, or if she could have waited to see like what are people doing and then be shady and sabotage people.
Yeah.
I don't think that's Erica's style. I think Erica is trying to
I
prove a
would have waited.
point. But what'd you say?
I would have waited 100%. Yeah.
I would have waited. I would have been like, "What's your
Especially
headsdress look like?" Okay.
yeah, especially people that hair is part of their look. I'd be
Right.
like, Not today. It's not."
Well, this just made it so that Abora couldn't wear a whole bunch of feathers as a wig. So, no, I'm just joking. Abora's look here, I think she looked amazing without hair. I thought it was
I
so
think if
good.
it had hair, it wouldn't have been the same. Like this is it's so good.
Hmm.
But this is that thing. Like, okay, so Abora, you can be Abora and still do the challenge. So why can't you do it in the first one? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like this was iconic, and I love the little whipped cream shoes. I love the nail coming, like the little
Hmm.
icing coming out of there. And it's great. It's lovely.
I think it's great. I think this is another example of like if you are forced to have to edit something, it just helps put something into focus. And it's not that like Abora has the issue where it looks like she is just putting everything on, but I think if she's put in a if they're put in a situation where they have to really think about what is my look going to be, what's the concept I'm going for, and I can't have these aspects to it, it's
Hmm.
only helping that like little tunnel vision to really focus on what the details should be.
Yeah.
Um, so I think that this actually ended up really helping Abora. They were safe. Um, and I think that's right. I don't think that this was a top look, but I don't think it was anywhere near a bottom. I think this was a high safe look, in my opinion.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
so then we have Astrid, who came out kind of like a shaman witch. Um,
Yeah.
and there's something about when Astrid does like black eyes and such that it's like there's something about her features that just show me kind of I don't know, like I get like a minotaur. I don't know why, but that's just like and I know that's kind of some of the vibe that you're getting from this look, but it's not only this look. Like any other look I've seen with her, like there's something about what she does that I think really gives me that vibe. So I thought this was an interesting look for her to go for.
I think it's really pretty. Again, there's so much detail
Mhm.
and Boris, sorry, and Astrid stuff. I really, really, it's just great. The
Yeah.
shoes are excellent.
Yeah, the
This
shoes are
is what
awesome.
I wish Coco would look at when you look at like shades of white,
Mhm.
because it's white, but it's all distressed, it's dirty, it's not
Mhm.
just blood thrown on to be blood, it's blood thrown on with a purpose.
Right.
So and like for instance, like they ate the heart, they have the heart in the hand,
Yep.
and then there's only blood right here and on the, because obviously if you're gonna bite it, there's gonna be blood dripping here. And so it tells a story on its own, and I think that's really,
Yeah.
really important. But this is obviously a look that was thought of. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
wasn't, they came prepared for this. It's I love it, it's great.
It's fantastic. I definitely think it comes across as like here's a villain that you have to face in like Conan Exiles. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? Or like a
It
character that comes.
reminds me of like a character. What was the American Horror Story one where they had it was like in the middle of like Virginia?
Oh, Roanoke.
Yes, it reminds me of something that you would see like out in the woods
Yeah.
right there. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Next, we have Erica Clash, who I believe was saved by her performance of eating mealworms and gagging herself with a scythe because otherwise, I know there's a lot of candy on there. I know that took a lot of time to construct, but I just don't see this being as, I don't know. It's very Erica. And I think that that's great, but I just kind of think it's a little basic.
So to me, I think this looks like if you're gonna walk into the room for the first time.
Yeah, like an
Type of
entrance look.
look. Like, yeah, if this was Erica's entrance look, that's what it kind of looks like to me. It's a lot of candy. Yeah, I'm sure it took a lot of time to do this. I think the prosthetics great. I loved like the traditional green. I think like this looks like something that you could have done for the Halloween party. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, which, you know what? No one did. Oh, probably because they did witch on this one. They're like, you can't
That's
go
what I
with a
was
witch.
saying. Is I
Yeah.
wonder if Abora was supposed to be a witch, and then they had to shift it a little bit. But
I get where they're going with the candy. I would have liked to maybe see like candy coming out of their skin. Like what if
mm,
the lollipop was like impaled into their skin and then they pull
yeah.
it out and then eat it. I think that would have been really really cool.
I'm
I
gonna
mean
say it. I hate the boots. I hate the boots. I have those boots, and it just looks like I walked through a trash in New York City after Halloween. Like, you know what I mean?
they yeah,
It's
they
just
probably had
basic.
they probably needed some boots and they're like we have some black boots, let's put some candy on it.
Yeah, I just like if you had made the stems of the heel like a lollipop stem or something like that. If you I don't know, like instead of because everything else already has candy stuck on it, make the
Mhm.
boots different. If the whole point is to make the boots stand out, the boots do not stand out because it's just like every other part of your outfit.
It kind of looks like they just took spray adhesive and then like rolled around in a variety of ways.
Yeah. And that's my main issue I think with this because otherwise I think it's a really you're trying to go for like
It's
the
cute.
Hansel and Gretel witch. And it's a cute outfit and I love that she brought the or the filth aspects to it, but I don't know. I feel like Erica might have. I think that she should have been in the bottom. That's just me. So next we have Eva Destruction, who again, oh my god, what a performance! I was so enthralled with Eva's performance. I loved it so much. Just like I've never been so creeped out by someone like sweeping the floor.
I can we talk about Eva's makeup this season? It's just like their makeup is never bad, but like
Right.
this like it's so good. And like
So good.
the way they painted for this witch, I guess it's a traditional witch with like the
Mhm.
nose and like the witch's hat and everything and all this and the broom and all that. But the face just told a story. I
Mhm.
love all the detail in this, how it's like ripped up and like torn to shreds. I love the skin on the boots and the rhinestones
Yeah.
on it. I thought that was really really cool. I will say though, from afar, it looks like lace on the boot instead of skin.
Skin. Yeah.
So I think what would have been really really cool too is if I personally I would have loved to have different color skins on there.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good point.
And
Like
I would have
different.
had like thicker. I would have the skin is really thin. I would have had it almost look like chunks of flesh
Mhm.
on there, and then maybe like they go like a meat market and they like sew it together type of thing,
Oh,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
the rotisserie wire stuff. I think it would have been really cool to like have that stitched like in there, but that's if I have to nitpick it. I mean, they look great and the performance is amazing, and I love this red hair on them.
Yeah, they're so good. And
Mhm.
again, I even though I agree with you, I think it was really interesting to use tattoo practice skin as a material for
Mhm.
flesh. Like that's I didn't even know that existed because I don't have
Yeah.
any tattoos or anything like that. But I was just like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. Next, we have Hoso, who had I think this was more of an Eastern referenced witch, and I can't remember what kind it was, but one that was a little bit more feline in nature. And that's why the shoes, the boots themselves have kind of like these rats and mice that
Rats
are
on it.
coming out of them.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, it's
this
great.
is so good.
Yeah.
It's so good. The shoes to me were like they were probably my favorite ones just because I can tell that at one point used to be a basic boot, but there's nothing basic about it anymore, right?
Yeah.
Like even the material of the boot itself looks like it's completely changed. And that's what I guess I'm missing from someone like Erica, for example. Like it just looks like a boot that has stuff on it versus here it looks like
They
this
transformed the
it's a
boots.
very transformed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be honest. I didn't like the boot when I first saw it. When when
Okay.
when they showed it in the walkthrough, I thought it was like, oh, there's little stuffed animals on it. I don't know. I thought it was like
Yeah.
cute, but we didn't see this outfit obviously until
Right.
and now that we see it, I'm like, oh my god, it looks great. Like
Yeah.
she stomped through New York City with those. um, it's just yeah, just took all the rats with her.
This
The
is a subway creature for sure.
Yeah, no, I love it. The silhouette. The cool thing about Hoso is their ability to literally pull off any silhouette. They make the craziest shapes and everything, but it's
Mhm.
still like fashion forward, and it's like it still gives like this like feminine, beautiful vibe to
Yeah.
it, although they're a fucking rat-eating monster. It's beautiful to look at.
Yeah. They're another one that they can always look so creepy in their performance, and I appreciate it. But the one thing is like, I know that Eva does like a whole bunch of similar things each time, but there's a level of intensity that you almost like forget it. There's something missing with Hoso where every single time I know exactly what Hoso is going to do with their face, what they're going to
Yeah,
do with their body. And I hope that that evolves a little bit more because that'll just push them to the next epsilon. So,
yeah.
all right. Next, we have Kendra Onyx, who was in the bottom two for the lack of anything done to that shoe.
I mean, the shoes were horrible. They, I mean, they're fine if you're gonna do a meet and greet, but like, this isn't a meet and greet. I get what they were going for with this,
Mm-hmm.
but like, if you're gonna do this like voodoo type of style, you could have put some like skulls on it, some bones on there or
Some
something,
pins.
some beads, anything on there. Yeah. Oh my god. Like if they were like voodoo dolls on there, oh my god,
Mm-hmm.
that would have been incredible. Um, but to me, it looks like it looks very like they altered something from the store.
Yeah.
And
It
that's what I don't get. Like they have the look, like they know what they're gonna do. It's just it's not executed the best way.
I didn't even think that it looked like they did anything to the shoe. It looks like they just kind of put a feather
Oh
above
no,
it.
it looks like, you know what it looks like. You ever go to the craft store and they sell like the trim of like feathers on the, you know what I'm
Yes.
talking about? That's what
Yes.
it looks like. They had like a few packs, and then they just kind of like wrapped it around
I just was like,
certain things.
Kendra, no, no, no. Because I love the outfit other than that. Like, I think this is a really
I love the
interesting thing.
print. I think the print is
The print's
beautiful.
really beautiful. And I love the bald head and that kind of thing. That's why I love that whole moment where Kendra's like, is this a bad time to tell people I would have been bald anyway? Like, so like if, I wish that Erica
Yeah,
had been like done it to Kendra, and Kendra's like, you're lost because I wasn't going to do it anyway.
yeah.
But the performance was good, and that's why the Boulets wanted to hold on to Kendra. But I definitely think that this was a shoe challenge in addition to performance, and I think that her spot in the bottom two was justified.
Well, when we think of like a voodoo witch, like
Yeah.
like that image alone, they're just so um like they're, whenever they're doing all like the witchcraft that they're doing, it's so over the top, and like the performance and everything, that I wish we could have seen some of that. It's scary. it's
Yeah.
it's scary magic.
Right.
And so I would have loved to see that, but this is like I feel like we're at like Studio 54
Hmm.
on their Halloween night, maybe. So yeah.
Yeah. So next we have Coco Kane, who I know you're going to have some thoughts on the different shades of white, the fact that like let's put 2 splashes of blood on these otherwise clean white boots.
I don't know what they are. What
Um
type of witch is this?
I don't this is where they were explaining and I couldn't understand
I
what the
see the
reference
tarot
was. So
cards. So I do see that in the bottom of the hat, but they don't focus on that enough to see it.
and I was trying to figure out if they were also supposed to be doing something, and I apologize, I should know, but I thought that maybe they were supposed to be doing something voodoo-esque, but like trying to use that white alligator skin to be like, look at alligator crocodile skin from down south. I'm trying to do something
It's
interesting.
giving like a Tiger King um voodoo prince, like priestess type of thing. I didn't get it. It was really white. It was like super white, and the thing is like you just wore white straps on the last outfit.
Yeah.
But I do like the fact that they went more androgynous with
Yeah.
this, which
It
I
was
thought
really
was really
hot.
cool. Yeah, I actually really I loved that, because I was like, oh, well, I wasn't used to seeing this.
Hmm.
It was just I didn't understand which they were. And if we're gonna talk about the shoes, I don't like it. I don't get it. It's a cowboy boot, and then like I don't understand it.
I just kind of felt like, again,
It's a flat
you
cowboy boot.
it's a flat cowboy boot, but it's also you have a little bit of splashes of blood, but other than that, there's no dirt on this incredibly white costume. And if you're supposed to be somebody who's like from the swamps and you're trying to bring some kind of like crocodile aspect to it, make the boots muddy, make them, have those aspects of, I don't know. It just looks like you're going to white party.
Yeah,
And
why the white? Was there a reason they said white? I think
there
they just had the
was, and
fabric, wasn't it?
they had the fabric. Yeah. I just couldn't remember. There was a reference that they were trying to make, and I can't remember what it was, to be
I think
perfectly
if this
frank.
was like snake skin or like a darker color, like a brown skin or something, I think that would have been more
Mm,
effective. But this just isn't.
yeah.
It isn't it for me.
I'm just going to make a very side note that has nothing to do with Coco right now, but can we normalize these competition shows putting people's pronouns like when they bring their name up, like in a confessional or something? Because
Oh
that
yeah,
would be great. I would like, it's not hard. Put she, they, he, him,
yeah,
whatever, right? Just saying
yeah.
that. Okay, sorry.
Also, I
Mo-
do have to say, Coco's confessionals, he looks so cute in his confessionals.
Coco is so hot.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
This, I mean, just saying. Okay, I think that's why I like the androgynous look so much. I mean, I like that
Well,
look
I like
anyway.
it because I'm used to seeing Coco being voluptuous and like,
Yeah.
so I thought that was really really cool. I it's the white to me.
Hmm.
I don't understand the
Yeah.
white. And but Coco does this a lot. Like they will take an outfit and just kind of splatter blood on there with no purpose.
Yeah.
And I think that's
That's
something
the
like the
difference.
storytelling is what I'm missing.
Yeah, that's the difference between someone who is intentional about every single detail, and we think about like those Victoria Blacks and the Hosos and that kind of thing, and
Hmm.
the people who rely more on the performance than they do all the details of the look. That's not to be shady. I think that every queen and artist has their own strengths and areas that they know that they want to develop and areas that they don't want to develop, and that's fine. But I think the pure white was really distracting for
Hmm.
me.
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
So next we have Melissa B. Fierce with more prosthetics.
Yeah. Um. So this wasn't my favorite witch. It looked more like an it looked more like an old woman that was like playing in their closet type of thing, and like I don't know, like had some like flowers that she was gonna throw out on her kitchen table. I don't know. It didn't make what type of witch is this?
I don't know. All I could think of was like, even though this isn't anywhere near that, I just wanted, if they had put like vegetables and such on there, I would have loved for it to be a reference to the Into the Woods witch with like all the like the garden and
Yeah.
like magic beans and like all that kind of stuff. But it's not. I don't know if I missed a reference for this too, but it just,
Can I tell you what I think it is?
yes.
And I could be completely wrong, but it looks like they they already had this outfit, like the flowers, and they were like, you know what, let's turn this into a witch. And so
Mm,
then they like the leotard looks like that could have been used for a different
yeah.
number.
Well, I was
And
just
then
gonna say that leotard I hate. I'm just putting it out there. I
mm,
really didn't like it. I kind of feel like the flowers on the leotard and then the flowers on the shoe, like it's just super basic. It doesn't.
you know what I think would have been cooler if like maybe the robe was made out of flowers and then like she emerged from the flowers and then she had like roots and like stuff like
Yeah,
that.
like she's
So
an
like
earth
that way
witch or
she was,
something.
yeah, like she came from the earth, but I don't know. It's not my favorite.
Yeah, in the same way, remember like when Victoria had like her skin look like it was all dirty, like she just come out of the dirt, as a pumpkin. It
Yeah.
could have been something similar like that too, but I guess I just have a disconnect with, I don't know.
But she has this like hideous face, and then she has this like beautiful body, the smooth body. It's
The smooth body with its like incredibly wrinkled face.
like disgusting face. Yeah. So I'm confused. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just I don't know. It's not my favorite.
Yeah. Well, then we switch over to Victoria Black, who just
Victoria just transformed. I don't want to compare everybody to Victoria. I don't want to do
no,
that.
of course.
But like Victoria tells a story every fucking time that they walk out there,
Mm-hmm.
and completely transforms their face. They're a different person every time they step out on there. Like if you put all these pictures side by side, I would never known that that was the same person.
Right.
I know that the judges did not like the shoe. They didn't care for it.
Right.
I think it's brilliant. I think this should have been the shoe that Kendra had with the bones and the rat. Like that to me is like voodoo right there,
Yep.
and I think that was clever. But I thought this was a great cohesive look, and I think the shoes look great too.
I also love that she has cliffhangers on the shoe.
Mm-hmm.
Like I love that. That's a part of the story.
I
That's
do
a
wish she
part
had
of
like nasty nails though.
that's what I was gonna say next.
Oh, sorry.
No. I'm total. No. It just means that like we're definitely in the same place.
Yeah.
It just to me it felt like the feet themselves were a little too clean, like a long, dirty, nasty nail,
Mm-hmm.
like a rotting toe or something like that would have been really incredible. Now that's being incredibly nitpicky, but I think this was a choice where like normally, from what I understand, queens get clocked on a lot of having cliffhangers or having shoes that don't properly fit, and I love that like this is a way to incorporate it into like a look
Yeah.
that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Which you're not gonna be able to do all the time, but I
But
loved
you
it.
know what would have been really cool too is like instead of even having they didn't all have to be that. She could have flipped some of the nails so that way they're curving other which ways too.
Oh
So it's
yeah,
just
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
disgusting on the bottom. But I think it's great. It's so good, and this is
Yeah.
beautiful. This little leather working or whatever. I don't even know if it's leather. Whatever this is that they're wearing is
Mhm.
really really pretty.
And the story with like the missing eye and carrying it around to be able to see, like I thought that was just so unique.
Hmm.
And maybe
Well,
that's
I think they're
why
like. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say maybe that's why they wouldn't be able to properly clip their nails, is
Shut
because they have
up.
to hold the eye and then try to clip.
It's the what are the three witches and they cut the string. The
The fates.
yeah, I think that's what like they were basing this off of with the
Mm,
eye and everything
that'd be
too.
really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're all blind, right? The fates are.
Hmm.
Lastly, we have Yovska, who was in the bottom this week, and I don't think deserve to be in the bottom. And I know that they're a friend to Team Level Up here, but I honestly felt like even if their performance was lacking a little bit, there were people, I don't know, maybe it's the shoe thing that I'm really getting caught up on. You put a task in front of me and then I focus on that. But I do know this was a performance challenge, and it appears that, they did not have a strong one. It sounded like they tried to vogue, and voguing was not their strong
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
So,
If you're not a dancer, don't dance.
yeah.
And that's okay. Some people can't dance, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Um, so I think like this shoe would have been good on. This is what Erica needed.
Erica's shoe. Yes, I
Yeah.
definitely agree. This is what Erica's shoe should have been like. I couldn't tell if Yovska was trying to go for a candy witch or if they were trying to go for like the Wicked Witch, because
I
those
think it was.
striped socks are very Wicked Witch of the East that
I think
got
it was probably like a
crushed.
nod to like a witch, but I think they
Gotcha.
were doing candy because like the bottom of the outfit is like a gingerbread house.
Yeah. Okay. That
So
makes
I
sense.
think yeah, and then I think that's what they're going for. The problem that I have, and maybe it's supposed to be the roof, but it doesn't look like a roof to me. The black part on the this where the skirt starts by the
Mm.
waist. I wish it was like icing,
Ooh, that would have been cool.
so it matches the bottom too, because like a gingerbread house has icing on the top and on the bottom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So
So
now that you mentioned gingerbread house, that makes a lot of sense. To me, I thought it was just the house, like the house that crashes on the Wicked
I mean,
Witch
it
of
could be
the
a nod
East.
to both. It could be.
So it could be both, which I couldn't decide if it was one or the other. So why not both? ¿Por
Yeah.
qué no los dos?
And she has a gingerbread hat too with the icing
Yeah.
everywhere too. So I do think that it needed the icing on the waist.
Yeah.
But it's not my least favorite witch, that's for sure.
No, for me, this was a safe look. But again, what we see for the performance, that's the other thing that I think is both a positive and a negative of the show, is that we see the best of them when they're performing on the floor show. And then
Mhm.
we see when the Boulets are talking with themselves where they missed like messed up.
Yeah.
So we'll watch them and be like, I didn't think it was bad at all. And they'll be like, well, check out these outtakes that we didn't put in. They're like tripping all over the stage and everything. And we're
Yeah.
like, oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I
Yeah.
see it. So I think that is why it's hard first of all, it's hard for me as a non-drag artist to fully judge things, but also, again, I'm not seeing the full context of it all.
What's in her hand?
I think it's a big like sweet of some sort, like a candy.
Oh, okay.
But I can't tell. Like it looks like a yeah.
But, all right, well, good for you, Yovska.
Well, I don't know. Yovska ends up going home on this episode, where I feel like it really came down between Yovska, who had a poor performance, and Kendra, who had a poor shoe. And I think that the judges just saw a little bit more fire in Kendra, maybe, because it did seem like even in the cauldron, it sounded like, Yovska was pretty agreeable with people. And I think that some queens mistook that for being fine to go home. I don't think that's what it was at all, but I don't know.
I do think, they focus so much on shoes that I feel like out of the shoes, it should have been Yovska to say, but I'm not a competitor. So, but,
listen, I thought Yovska should have been safe. I didn't think they should have been the bottom. I felt like Erica should have been in the bottom for the shoe, the shoe alone.
But what about the shoe?
The shoe. They're like, Beth, this was a performance challenge. I'm like, but the shoe. I say that as someone who has like 3 pairs of shoes that I wear all the time. I have like no sense of fashion. I have nothing. So literally anything I say doesn't matter. That's why I did a 2-hour podcast on this. Okay, quickly, we'll go into episode 3. We've already basically talked about the love triangle, which is basically the whole drama of this episode, for the exception of we do hear that Melissa's husband just like got up and left.
Yeah.
That was really sad. And I'm really happy that they were able to open up to Kendra and Coco and have that moment of people that, they can really rely on it. But the difference between someone like Melissa and someone like Abora is that Melissa is channeling her energy into the competition.
Yeah.
And Abora's letting it eat at her or them. I'm sorry. And I really think that that's the mistake.
Yeah. I had a similar story to Melissa's. When I did Drag Race, the guy I was talking to left me when the cast was announced, because I was getting like people in my DMs, people sending me stuff, and like he just didn't like it, so he left me while I was at work. And he packed up the car. Yeah, he packed up the car, said that he wasn't gonna do this, took everything in the house.
Oh my gosh.
And then he's fine, but he totaled his car as he was leaving. Yeah, and then had to he lost everything and had to have his family buy him a ticket to go back down to Chicago.
God.
Yeah. So when she was sharing the story, granted, it's not like Michael left me. I'm married now, but like if Michael left me because of the show, he wouldn't. But
I was just gonna say, there's ain't no way Michael's leaving you on that.
He ain't going nowhere.
You hear that?
No, but I felt that because I was like, I've been there, like that's horrible. And so I'm glad that he has like a support system around him, though. But
it's still, I can't even imagine what that would be like to. It's not even just the fact that the partner left, but just have them point blank say, I'm not in love with you.
Yeah.
And also you're going to this competition in a week. And it sounded like the way that Melissa was talking about it was like, I was in bed for 3 days. I wasn't able to eat for 4 days. And then basically it was like, I packed up and came here. And the energy that we've seen in confessionals and in the competition, you would never have known.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
no, but that's how it should be. Like your mind is on. Not how it should be. Like if you're in a competition setting, you should focus on the competition. I think she's very smart about that because she obviously has a goal and she wants this, and she's not going to let outside distractions bother her from what she's going to get. But I'm glad that she was able to talk it out, because I'm sure that really, really helped her. And it's just like a support system, which is really, really nice. And yeah.
I also think too that the other part of this is that sometimes competition or a project or work or anything like that is a welcome distraction
Mm-hmm.
for intense grieving and pain and that kind of thing. It's people grieve differently in different parts of their lives over different kinds of things. And um, I haven't seen this, so I'm hope it's not out there, but it's the internet. So God knows if there's anybody who's critical of her, like, shut the fuck up. Just
Yeah,
saying.
but she's doing great though.
Good. Absolutely. So now we have a science fiction, like deep space kind
Love
of
it.
episode, which I was really excited for. We've spent a lot of time in these seasons talking about horror, but we don't really talk about horror all the time with science fiction. So I think that having this kind of space science fiction aspect to it was really interesting and cool.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on the general challenge before we get into the looks?
No, I was excited.
Yeah.
They go hand in hand together. It's like again when you're thinking of like horror and stuff, like you don't. A lot of people don't think of sci-fi. The same way that they always think like gore is just blood, and it's not.
No. Right.
So I think it's really cool that they're tapping into all these different like subcategories of it.
Agreed. So let's bring up the first look, which is a Bora again. I liked the concept in the boudoir where she was talking about like being in chains and such, but then she got rid of it like immediately. I was like,
Mhm.
the whole point of what you were trying to say, you got rid of, and then what are you?
So I don't know if like maybe they just edited it, you know what I mean? So they cut all that out.
Oh,
Maybe they
maybe.
spent a lot of time on it because we do see it.
Right.
Bora loves a feather.
I don't know if I get deep space from this either. I
I
think
don't.
I think I get like creepy ghost from like I
I
don't
get
know,
Scarecrow.
a circus.
I get
Like
Scarecrow
yeah,
often.
country ghost.
Like I would see this like if I saw this in like a horror film in like a barn, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's terrifying. But I definitely
Yeah.
don't get even with the planet behind them. There's a picture of whatever the planet is. I still don't
I
get
literally never even
sci-fi.
saw that.
Oh yeah.
I was so
I'm
enthralled with like, what is this? No. So I think once again, and the energy of the performance I thought was kind of lacking. I mean, Abora's mouth choreography with like laughing and such is truly psychotically
it's
terrifying
great.
to me.
Yeah.
But
It's
I
like an anime character's laugh. Like it's just like over the top.
yeah, it's
Yeah, it's great.
incredible.
hmm
But I think my issue is that I don't know if it's because they were kind of tied up at the legs and that kind of thing where it looked like they were, but I felt like there was really nothing in the body that was giving. Like you had some arms moving, but it was all face.
I
Um
I just don't understand why you did the witch challenge and you followed like I guess I just don't you know Abor's really creative and I'm not
mhm.
I can't like go into their mind and pick things apart and figure out like what they're thinking. I just wish I could. I wish I
Right.
could see the vision that they had, but I don't. And that's on me because art's, you know, subjective and I just don't see what they saw.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think that that's probably what one of the most frustrating parts for Abora is that I think other people in the cauldron are calling it ego, and I don't think that's correct. I think the right thing to say is like Abora has a specific lens and perspective in
Yeah.
artistic vision, and it just doesn't always land the way that they want it to with other people. And that's at the end of the day, if you're trying to communicate a message, you have to think about how can I get this message in a way that they will understand it. And that's the part that I think Abora misses is how do I translate what I'm thinking into how other people will be able to
Yeah.
interpret this?
I think so. One of the things when you do shows like this is like you gotta kind of like you have to like kind of like dumb it down, you know what I mean? Put it easier
Hmm.
and easier terms to understand. So you have to pick like simpler things, and maybe their you know their mind is just above and beyond everybody else's.
Yeah.
So I agree. I just I wish people could see the vision. It's not super clear.
They continue to be one of like the creepiest like
hmm
monsters though. So then we have Astrid with this incredible kind of cool light show. In addition to, I loved this outfit. I love
Yeah.
all the different eyes. I like the texture. There's at first I was like, oh, it's kind of reminiscent of the first like sea creature outfit. And then I was like, no, it's not actually at all. Like at like the first silhouette, like I kind of thought about that. But then as soon as the lights come on and I see all the details of all the eyes, I see the makeup, I see the things hanging off to look like slime and netting and such. I thought this was incredible.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's like giving me like a bug,
Yeah.
like a bug from another planet. It's really, really, really creative. All of their looks have been super cool.
So cool.
Yeah,
I
I
think that
really like
honestly,
it.
them going home second in season 4 was really good for them in this season because I think that they had a lot to show in season
Hmm.
4
Yeah.
and they let themselves beat themselves up and then they left. And what we're seeing here is a truly terrifying monster in the competition.
So this is so back to like if you can't dance,
Yeah.
pose. And like for instance, like they're posing, and they've already had comments about their dancing and they shouldn't be dancing and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But this is smart. You just pose and you look like a creature, and I think this is really really smart. I think this is really really great, and
Yeah.
I love it.
So, Jaremi, if you were someone like me who can't dance and can't pose, what do I do?
You don't go to the show.
Oh, come on. I want to do the
Just
fright
kidding.
feet. No, I was kidding.
You go to the bar and get a glass of wine.
Oh, okay. I can do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. Got you. I got you. And then the moves will come.
Oh no. Erica's sci-fi look needs a login.
Oh,
Which I don't have. I don't have an account for the Drag Race wiki. I also lost our place here. Oh, there we go. No, that's the
it's the
Wicked
Wicked
Witch.
Witch. Well, I will say this. So on because
Oh
there
no,
was
we're
a
missing.
popping up.
Okay.
Is Eva's there?
Eva's is also not there. But Erica had the hydrate
Yeah.
what am I trying to say?
Um,
Hydragon. I was gonna call it the Pokemon.
it's like the nod to Godzilla and stuff.
Yeah.
I first off, this I mentioned this like earlier, but it was so cool to see Erica not be Erica and do something
Mm-hmm.
completely different. And I thought it was really cool. It was like when the judges brought it up too, because I was like, we're all thinking the same thing. I was like, oh my gosh, I would if they walked out in front of me, I wouldn't know that was Erica. And I thought that
Agreed.
was really cool. And I think this is the part that like Abora could probably, take a little bit of notes from. Like you're not we know who Abora is in this company. Like we know your look. We know what you're capable of. Now,
Mm-hmm.
what are you capable of doing for this challenge type of
Right.
thing? And I think this was really smart for Erica because we know what Erica's look is. Everybody does. And then Erica was like, "No, I'm going to do something completely different."
Right.
And I thought it was really clever. Were there some fitting issues? Yeah. The first thing I did notice was how the crotch was so low, and I'm glad that the judges called it out. I was
Right.
like, which to me, when I'm looking at that as someone who sews,
Mm-hmm.
it looks like to me looking at that, if I saw that, I'd be like, oh, maybe that was one of their first times making a bodysuit, or you know what I
Oh.
mean? Because
I also
bodysuits are not easy. They're hard.
no, they're not
Yeah.
easy from what I understand. I say that as someone who's never sewn. But I definitely think for me again, everything with like the arms and the shoulders up was fantastic. And then it was just like a monochromatic kind of I mean, they had design on it, but it was
Well, I
just
love
like
the
a
colors.
bodysuit.
I
And
did love
like
the colors and the bright
and it was like
neon and
scaly and that kind of thing. But it
yeah.
was, I don't know. I felt like what was great about the outfit in keeping with Erica's style was the bright choice of color. Like
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't realistic, quote unquote, dragon. It was like bright colors, which we know that Erica is known for. They really incorporate a lot of pastels and brightness into their looks. So even though by looking at this outfit, we wouldn't have known, A, that's Erica. If you had said, A, that's Erica doing
Yeah.
this outfit, to be like, I see the inspiration behind
Yeah.
it. And
Yeah.
that's how you can tie your drag character and aesthetic into something like this for sure.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's just some fitting issues on there, and I think like I know that Erica was mad that they were just safe, but I'm
Right.
like I'd be happy to be safe on that. Like,
I think that what they're most scared about, and they admitted this, is that if this is what they're seeing themselves pushing the farthest they can go and they're only safe, what does that mean for them in the competition?
But that's not, see, but that's a mindset that they have to get out of,
1,000%.
because and that just means that you're comparing yourself to everybody that's around you, and it
Correct.
like, so I don't think you should do that. So
Agreed. So then Eva was next, and Eva was kind of like the robot character who was mopping. So we went from
yeah,
sweeping to mopping. And I agreed with the Boulets, where it was like a mail order costume bodysuit with like mail order armor on top
yeah,
of it. I did love the light that was like in the mouth.
yeah, that was
Like
cool. The
that was
face up, I thought it was great.
it was so cool.
Yeah.
But I did agree that I felt like this was kind of Eva resting on their laurels a little bit.
So if you're gonna buy something that's gonna be store bought, like the bodysuit didn't bother me. Technically everything that people are wearing is store bought, so it's not like
Right.
that doesn't bother me. But but everybody like repurposes it or changes it. I think it'd been really cool to have wires and stuff coming out.
Mm.
There's so for we didn't get to do the challenge, but there was a fascinator challenge on my season that I had a huge lips with a cigar that smoked. So when I walk, it would smoke. But I think like little things like that, like if you had like smoke coming out of your outfit in places, I think would have been cool.
Look
The
like you're like
like
breaking
smoking, like
down.
breaking, since they were like overloaded. So I think those little things could have like really changed it. The armor, I think, like if you're gonna be super gloss on the face to look like metal and fake and stuff, like the armor could have been hit with like a glaze on it or something that would have read more metal.
Yep.
But I did like the concept. I just think when you're on stage with all the other incredible creatures,
Yeah.
yeah, you notice those little faults.
And I do think that, yes, the floor show is always inherently a performance. So obviously from a performance standpoint, Eva did well, but I do think in a competition or in a challenge, I mean, like this, it is much more about the concept that you bring to life. And I just felt like this was Rosie the maid malfunctioning from the Jetsons. Like,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
It didn't
It would have been really
scream deep space, scary
Yeah.
thing.
I think it'd been cool if they ripped their skin off and they were a robot under the skin.
Ooh, I love
You know what I
that.
mean? Kind of like a nod to like Mars
Yeah.
Attacks, and like the face peels off.
Yeah.
So I think that would have been really cool on there. Um, but I mean,
Definitely.
they still looked great. Eve looked
Yeah.
fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah. So next we have Hoso, who does win this challenge. I loved Hoso's performance with like the sword and everything. And they have the wires coming out. So the thing that you were
Hmm.
talking about, the things that would have elevated Eva's look, and I think I do believe they came out close to each other. And I remember thinking like, oh, so Hoso's like a more detailed version that's like scarier than Eva's. You
Hoso's
know
like
what I
a
mean?
I think it's like those like punk K-pop groups
Yeah.
that like from the future, that's like a cyborg gone bad. Like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like she's actually gone like heavy metal, and like she's like broke the guitar and now stabbing you with it. Like it's that type of thing.
Yeah.
And I love that. I also love that they incorporated like hot pink into their look, which I thought was
Mm-hmm.
really, it was fun. It was clever. And I love this thing that Hoso does, where they take three faces
Mm-hmm.
and they they make the mask, but that's again store bought. It's all everything's store bought,
Right.
but how can they manipulate it? But it was
Right.
like a store bought, like it was like an Oni mask. I don't know if you
Yeah.
noticed that, and I thought that was really cool.
It really was cool. And the other thing that Hoso does in a performance and did it a lot here, and you're seeing a little bit of it in the GIF, are these like fast eye movements and like being able to really look like they're short circuiting and such.
Hmm.
And that was really fascinating to watch.
Yeah,
It really like they really know how to bring these concepts, many of which have like Korean or Eastern influences that maybe the mainstream of America and Western countries won't understand, and
yeah,
make it palpable for people to say like, here you go.
yeah.
So I mean, Hoso I think deserved the win this week for sure. Next up, we have Kendra Onyx, who was in the bottom two, and I think rightfully so, and did go home this episode. Grandmother bitch won't give her money.
I didn't understand what she was doing. I didn't know what the monologue was. um, I don't like this. I it's again, it's too pedestrian. There's blood on this outfit, but there's not a single stitch on the jacket.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if you're gonna go for this like purple, like cartoony, like almost like Tim Burton, you know, style skin and hair and stuff, like the outfit needs to match it. And it
Mm-hmm.
looks like it's, I mean, it is. It's store-bought stuff that they just splattered some blood on, which I find kind of weird that like the judges didn't say anything about that to Kendra, but said it to Eva on a outfit that you could barely see.
Yeah. I feel
um
like it's because the judges were like, it's time for Kendra to go. So we're going to give Eva some feedback here for someone who's going to stay in the competition.
my favorite part about this whole thing is the under eyes, this like neon pink
Mm,
that made it look like their eyes were just completely bloodshot. I thought that was the
yeah.
coolest thing. But then you have like this pageant jewelry with these like pageant or these like rhinestone like pleasers, like I don't
Yeah.
know. The hair was reminiscent of like the videos that we see of the Boulets when they like give them their
Yes.
challenges or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it's just it missed the mark completely for me.
It did for me too. I feel like if they were going for this, which I don't know if Kendra was, but if Kendra was going for this idea that like one of the scariest monsters even deep in space is capitalism, that could have been an
Girl,
interesting.
that's deep.
That's a deep cut. It's a
um,
deep ass cut. But what I'm trying to get at is like if you're gonna go for someone who is like a mall queen alien who is like also murdering people and like I
okay, let's
guess
just give it the benefit of the doubt and
whatever.
say it was that capitalism from space. Then I would have loved this. Like, if that's what you're gonna be, and you're gonna be a mall queen. I would have loved to have some shopping bags that were like manipulated to have like space name, companies on it or something. I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
would have
yeah.
been great. Or like Tesla, and like turn that into something. Well, that's a nightmare itself, Elon Musk. But like, you know what I mean? Like something like that. I think would have been more creative. But this is just
Definitely.
not.
No, this I mean,
In reality, she painted herself purple and was like, "I'm an alien."
and now I have to come up with a performance that's going to stand out. Yeah. I
Yeah,
think that's I think of a certain time
and her
and set
performance did stand out. It did.
it did.
I just wish the
Next
outfit
was
matched.
Coco Kane who humped the crap out of that blaster gun and I dug it. I was
This is
here for it.
this is my favorite Coco look so far.
100%.
Hmm.
It's not white.
It's not white, and it's like realized from head to toe, like all the
Mhm.
details. And you know what? It's the same. It's. I mean, honestly, it's the same silhouette. We've seen it before,
Yeah.
with Coco, but it's just it fit this theme so well. It gave me like oh my gosh, what's that show where Rose McGowan lost her leg and then she starts shooting with it. You know what I'm talking about?
I haven't seen that.
Oh my
But
gosh,
I
it's like this like punk. Oh my god, what is it? I can't think of it. But she loses her leg, and then she puts a machine gun in her leg, and then she starts shooting with her
sick.
with her leg. But it gave me those vibes, and it was
Mhm.
literally like this heavy metal. Like she looks hot, and I loved it. This is my favorite Coco look.
It was so cool. I love the little mirror on top of the blaster gun to
So
like
clever.
it's just so cute. I love the hair.
Hmm.
Um just the pinup of it all. Like this pinup space vixen. I
But
thought this was great.
you know why the hair works really well too is because her body is so curvaceous that the hair was curvaceous as well, so it
Totally.
matched. And as
Because
good,
no, I was just gonna say because that hairstyle can easily be very muted down a little bit. But she made it so that it was matching how big her other proportions of curves were.
hmm and as a fan of someone who has made guns on runways, I was a
Still the
very
most
big
Beth.
fan of a gun prop like this, and it was great. It was wonderful.
I will say this with full confidence, and I will say this: your future of drag look still haunts me. It is literally my favorite look that's ever been on on the runway,
Oh, thank you.
and I genuinely mean that. I would never say that to you if it weren't the case. I wouldn't give you any props. I'd be like, oh yeah, that really fucking cool blaster gun and outfit, whatever. No,
It was
Still haunts
fun.
me.
It was good. Yeah, I
It's a good
loved it.
one. Oh, Melissa's is not there. And what about Victoria? Okay, Victoria's is. What was Melissa's?
So the issue I have with Melissa is she was what was it, Predator? Which to me
Oh,
it
yeah.
was just that was a cosplay.
Yeah, it didn't come across as like I think that the issue I'm having with Melissa is I'm having a hard time figuring out what so Melissa had that bodysuit, right?
Yeah.
And that's great. And I think if I remember from season one, there was a lot of like pageant queen aesthetic as well as like bodysuits and dancing and that kind of thing. So I got the Melissa aesthetic from the bodysuit. And I do think that like that was a very intricate bodysuit. So like it stood out a little bit more than some of the like fit issues that we saw from like Erica, for example.
Yeah.
And there was more details and those kind of things in it. But at the end of the day, it just came across as like I'm doing a really prestigious gig look rather than a reimagining of a Predator look for a show like Dragula.
Yeah, it was like a legit Predator mask. And like if that's the case, what bothered me too is that like everything was so blinged out, but then the face was just matte.
Mm-hmm.
And so it looked like you had a mask on. You know, like when they sell
Yeah.
Halloween costumes and it's like the separate mask from like the one jumpsuit when you were a kid.
Yeah.
And that's what it reminded me of. And I was like, like and like the nude bodysuit, you could have been like an alien, like a naked alien rhinestoned queen coming,
Yeah.
through, and didn't need to dance, didn't need to move, didn't need to do nothing, just walked out there and just like took it all in. But I don't know. I see where they're going with it. It was just to me, it was cosplay. It was like an exact character.
Yeah. I'm hoping that we really start to see them really own their drag aesthetic as well, because even though they've had some successful looks and safe looks, I don't think I've really seen Melissa push herself with her.
Well, the thing that's I feel like hurting Melissa, and I'm glad that they called it out and was like, you don't have to do all this stuff. Like, we didn't bring you
Yeah.
on to do this shit. And the thing is like I feel like you're kind of hurting yourself because like you are the only person in this group that does what you do. You know what I mean? And like you are this like glamour goth queen. Like so. Do those because then you're going to stand out even more. You putting on a prosthetic next to somebody that does fucking prosthetics like Victoria Black, like come on, like you're obviously going to be judged next to that person. But if you're wearing like a completely like you're being like this vixen vamp character, you know what I mean, and just sexy, embodying that, nobody else is doing that up there, so they have nobody else to compare you to.
And that's what I was kind of saying with the first episode with Melissa is like, yeah, I'm happy that they took a risk and that they made the prosthetic work for them. But at the end of the day, I wish they would have had a glammed up face that they had done with it instead, just so that, again, reintroduce that drag character and what your aesthetic is. But
yeah. I want to see them in like completely like black rhinestone, like Morticia Adams.
Yeah.
Like, give us that. That's what they're wanting too from her. Like that old Hollywood, goth glamour is what they want. So.
Yep. All right. And lastly, we have Victoria Black, who also wins this challenge. We have two winners with Hoso and Victoria. And Victoria, prosthetics, special effects galore here. For those that are DB Dead by Daylight players, I got like a little bit of dredge out of this. And then at the same time, I also got like Resident Evil for somebody turning into like, the zombie kind of creatures. Like this was the way that she performed this. And when the silhouette first came out, we couldn't see everything. I was blown away.
Yeah. My jaw dropped. I was like, because I just would like, I would never have thought. I didn't know where they were going with the teeth and everything, which they ended up changing for their final.
Yeah.
But this is like when I saw this and they announced Hosto as the winner, I was actually like, what? Because I just couldn't find any faults with this, and then they announced Victoria as well, and I was like, oh, okay, because I was like, how did that not get the attention that it deserved? This is incredible. This is unlike anything that's been on the show. It's unlike anything we've seen before. This is just a completely different vision for an alien, and it's so fucking cool.
Do we know if Victoria does any like special effects work for studios or anything like that? I feel like they should if they don't.
I don't know.
Just like incredible.
So
No, I mean, I literally have nothing wrong to say about this. I think the thing that I love the most about Victoria is that she's always been incredible at these different concepts and bringing such a high level of, special effects and makeup and
Yeah.
prosthetics and such to the stage. But her performance has improved so much that, back in season 2, it was a lot of very subtle movements and just little bits here and there. And then she kind of grew as the competition went on. Here, I mean, I would be so scared of her if I were anybody else in this competition.
Yeah, and the thing, but why no one's bothered though is because she's not involved in anyone's drama. She's
Right?
sticking, to herself. Like, and that's what I'm saying. Like, that's
Yeah.
you gotta like focus on yourself. Like, because like that's a top runner right now. You know what I
Oh,
mean? So
definitely.
and it shows. And so
Absolutely.
I will say, and I know we didn't go over the entrance looks, but her entrance looks is one of my least favorite.
Oh, yeah.
I was like,
Hold on,
no,
let's bring it up. Da, 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 da. That's the
Well,
confessional
but I'm
look.
glad that like all the runways have been like
Oh,
iconic.
wait. I thought they had. Oh, okay, 1 second. That's also. The eye makeup, though. Oh, I love.
No. The face looks great. I didn't understand this outfit.
This is reminiscent to me of like one of her last looks for maybe it was the reunion for season 2 or something like that. It was almost like it's like where she left off for season
Gotcha.
2, but she came back for Resurrection, so I don't know.
I don't know, but yeah, this is not my favorite.
All right. So moving forward, who do you think is going to win, and who do you think is going to be the next to leave?
I think the front runners right now are I definitely think Eva and Victoria are the front runners, and I
Mm-hmm.
feel like they just have this mindset of winning. Like when you look at the bunch, I also think if Astrid like can hone in and get their shit together, Astrid could be in the top as well.
Definitely.
But I think Astrid needs to quit focusing on the other drama and
Yep.
focusing on everybody else. And Astrid kind of reminds me of myself when I was younger because I was always like in everybody's drama and like talking and everything. And I just think you need to sit back and like just do your thing because your stuff is great. It's
Yeah.
amazing. Because like if you just sit back, everyone else is gonna implode. So
Totally.
yeah. So but I do think Eva and Victoria are the front runners right now. As far as like who could go next, um, I could
So
see.
Abora's been in the bottom twice and was
Yeah.
saved this week. And Kendra was in the bottom, then left. So Abora's the only person. Oh no, Erica was in the bottom and Coco was in the bottom as well in the first episode.
Yeah, I could see Coco having some issues.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I think Coco right now is the one. Coco and Abora are the ones for me.
Yeah.
It's just like when you're on the like the if you're like looking at everybody like as far as look wise, I feel like Coco and Abora are the ones that are the farthest off from what the challenges are most of the time. Except for this last one, I think Coco nailed it.
Yeah.
But yeah, normally I think they're a little off, and so that's all.
I think that if I'm thinking from a production standpoint, Abora staying is the gag for this week, right?
Mm-hmm.
This coming episode. But season 2 was like the season of Erica consistently saving themselves from elimination because of the extermination challenges, and Abora always causing people to rally behind her and then being
Oh, I forgot Eric
toxic
was
and nasty.
there.
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought
So
Erica went home this week. Kendra went home.
yeah. So
Right.
I think
I could see Kendra.
why make it this?
Kendra.
Why make it the same season again? So I think either Abora or Erica goes next.
Yeah.
And I think I'm just going to put it now. I think Victoria wins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it's going to be between Victoria and Eva.
Yeah,
Sure.
Victoria,
They're the
Eva.
most realized looks, but as far as like looks right now, Victoria's miles ahead of everybody at this point in the game.
Definitely.
So.
Excellent. Well, Jaremi, thank you so much for joining me. I know that we went about an hour and 15 minutes longer than we said we
Oh,
were
no,
going to
that's
do.
fine. Yeah, no, that's
But
fine.
this was a blast to talk through these first 3 episodes with you. What are you up to? Where could people find you if you want to be found on social media and the like?
I don't want to be found.
Okay,
I'm just
go
kidding.
away, everybody. Just stop looking at his face. No.
It's everywhere. Everywhere. It's just look for just Jaremi. But yeah, I'm on Twitch, and yeah, I have a new photo series that's going to be coming out. I'm going to be starting a new photo series where I'm going to have the audience and people on social media pick out the look and like concept, which is going to be really fun. Yeah,
Ooh.
so I'm gonna have them vote on it, and then they'll pick like a character and then what type of theme for the character. So we'll get to like twist it up and
Oh,
everything and
that'd be
have fun
cool.
with it.
And where do
But
they
yeah,
need to follow in order to be a part of that? Is that
we're
on your
gonna do
Instagram?
polls. We're gonna do poll. No, Instagram. I'll post all my photos, but we'll do the polls on Twitter and everything.
Okay,
But
awesome.
yeah. Oh, and I just started a TikTok for all my gaming stuff, which I did not think I'd ever. The old man is keeping up with the kids.
Look
So
at this.
yeah, I'm on TikTok now, which is funny.
Oh, I love to see it.
TikTok is kind of funny though.
Oh,
It's
it's
I do definitely think I'm way older than the demographic for that because there's a lot of little shitty kids on there.
oh yeah. My favorite is
I
that
can't.
my college students have found my TikTok and they
Mhm.
like all my videos, and I'm like, can you not? Like, I'm trying to be a cringy millennial, and then like I have to be reminded that I
Yeah.
have students who are 20 years old who are going, look at her.
I just had someone comment on my TikTok and be like, "You shouldn't joke about that. The people who normally get mad at people on TikTok." And I was like, "I don't fuck. I've had the world hate me. You think
I
I'm
was
gonna
just gonna
talk
say,
about
imagine,
TikTok?"
imagine having a singular 13-year-old come from you after the experience Jeremy has
Literally,
had.
like, get out of here. I'm like, come for me, please.
Love that.
But yeah, everywhere, just Jeremy.
Excellent. Well,
Yep.
be sure to follow Jeremy on all the socials, including TikTok and Twitch. You can all catch me at Augusta Wind 11 on all my social media channels. You can also catch me on my weekly meltdown, where I break down Survivor every week after the episode airs. You can also catch me this coming week on the B&B with Mike and Liana. I'm very excited to join them for the first time as we have some fun discussing Survivor 43. And I believe that is it. So we will come back after the finale to break down the other half of the season as well as the finale. And until then, stay ugly.